going on here. You talked a little bit about that last week, so we're going to get into it some more here. Hello, 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 giving everyone an opportunity to get in here. I hope you can hear me. If you can't hear me, please let me know. Okay, let me open up my chat here. Decided to do this on a Saturday. Hello, hello, hello. For many of you that are in here, some are not in here. Giving you an opportunity to get in here, and then we're going to get started. There's the community like I said, we're getting ready to go deeper in our community. So I'm having to close some of the things off here, but I've shared so much here with you. So it should give you a head start on some of the things that you're trying to do in Hoodoo. Okay, a lot of information here, a lot of information here. So we're going to dive into what are some of the things that, would be going on. What would be going on? Why is your that stuff not working? Why isn't it working? You did it. Why isn't it working? That's happened to many of us. We get into our practice and we're trying to figure out, okay, we did what somebody show us, why it's not working. Okay, we did it, we've done it, but it's why it's not working. Any people in here, let me ask you this, how many of you are like that? Have you done a spell and ritual and lit your candles and your prayers and nothing moved? Nothing moved at all. Nothing moved. I've seen it. It's happened to me. I've had other people that happen to them. They come in, they get a reading, and I get to telling them what's going on. They're like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, really. It's time. Yeah, you did this part, but now it's time to do this part." Some people are perplexed because they find out, "Hey, I didn't know I was gonna have to do that." Yeah, you're gonna have to do that because that's what's in your way. How many of you have lit the candles? You said everything the right way. You followed everything to a T. And then there be some of the issues going on. How many of you have did that and you said, "Oh my gosh, it didn't work. Why isn't this working? This is supposed to work." How many of you have done that? How many of you have done that? You lit the candles, you did everything right, you said your prayers, but nothing moved. Not a sign, not a shift, nothing. Nothing didn't move. And you're just figuring out like, what? I did it right. It happens, nothing to be embarrassed about. Nothing to be embarrassed about. But what do we do? Because I know if you come to me and you're asking me that, I'm gonna start prying. We're gonna get down to the bottom of it because I know the right questions to ask you to start figuring out what's going on. Okay. Most people think that their magic isn't working, but that's not true. That's not what's going on there. Your stuff is working. It is working. Okay. The first problems is this: a lot of people don't actually understand what hoodoo really is. Well, a lot of people they mean well. I'm going to give them be optimistic about their efforts. I'm going to be optimistic. They mean well. They found something that worked for them. That's the key word. They tapped into their magic with their own mind because all of this is with your mind too. It begins with your mind. If your mind ain't together in any sort of magic system, I don't care what, if your mind and emotions is not together, then you're going to start hitting walls in this. Remember us going over Abramelin magic and what Abram was trying to do? What did he do? He had to go into intense shadow work to access power. You're gonna see that over and over again in occult books. That's why I don't see occult books or any type of magic book. You're going to see that over and over again. So that is why one reason I said, why would they skip our list just to show you the flashy stuff? Because the flashy stuff is not what really matters here. It's your personal power. Okay, it's your personal power. Okay. Some people treat it like a religion or a checklist, and it's neither. Hoodoo is not a religion. It's not that. Okay? It's a way of life. It's how we relate to spirit, ancestors, in the natural world. How's your relationship with the natural world around you? How is it? What is your relationship with the land? What is your relationship with the plants? Have you formed that matters? Because yes, that's why we cover that in our community. We go right into talking about roots, herbs, and looking at how our ancestors was using it as medicine and in magic. And if you don't know that and you just picking up something and you just throwing things together because you think it fits, hello, Black Magic Mike, and you're just putting things together just because you think somebody else did it, you saw somebody else do it, but you have no relationship to the land, to the plants. This matters because these are spirits that you're working with. I know what you see people doing. Honey, you have to pray over your items. You have to call forth your intentions. Okay, that's why you see a lot of root workers, especially seasoned root workers. Most of them going to be growing all their plants and their herbs. They're going to grow that themselves. You know why? Because they understand the spirits in those plants and herbs, and they're going to be talking to those plants and herbs, establishing a relationship with them. That's why it's good. That's why you hear me say, grow something. Grow something. Yeah, are these relationships established? Everything, is alive. Everything. Everything has energy. Everything is conscious. And if you don't understand that, this is the indigenous part of hoodoo. And it goes even deeper than that. It goes even deeper than that. And it's a way of life. It's how you relate to spirit, your ancestors, and the natural world. Your mindset alone can determine whether your work moves or stays stuck. Have you got rid of, where your mind at? Where are you? How are you going into ritual? What is your comprehension of this work? What do you understand about the work? Except just wanting it to work. What is it that you know? I have to ask these questions. I can come here and show you a fancy little spell and tell you every thing about hoodoo, but what is your personal relationship with it? What do you understand about it? This is this is important. A lot of people don't think it's important. They want to skip to being shown all this stuff, but it's only so far you're going to get with that until you hit a wall. Okay? What do you know? What do you know about hoodoo? What works for you? Anybody can come here and show you things, and it might work. Some of it might work for you, but can you put together your own stuff? Can Do you understand hoodoo enough? Enough about spirit of the spiritual realm, roots, herbs, and things like that to put things together yourself without somebody telling you. Have you did the study, the research, uh, the relationship, building a relationship with any of the elements? Have you done that? These are questions, and we definitely covered this in our community. And I've talked about this extensively here on this channel. I let you know what hoodoo, what it all is. It's beyond that Bible. It is not a religion. It is not that. You're hearing a lot of that stuff go on too. It is not a religion. It is an ancestral magic. It is embedded in the black church. It is embedded in our culture. Yeah, there's really no place you can look and don't see hoodoo in our culture, but you don't know what you're looking at. When you start working with your ancestors, they'll let you start seeing it. Just like I posted about that song by Earth, Wind and Fire, Boogie Wonderland. Now I put an ancestors list together. I mean, an ancestors playlist together on YouTube that I play uh, on when I venerate my ancestors on a specific day. And I usually play the music, but this particular day, I didn't play a lot of gospel. I started playing a lot of old R&B, and I was listening to it, and they said, "Hey, uh, this is a hoodoo song. That's why you like this so much." And I was like, "No, it's not." They was like, "They're talking about romance." And see, they cracked the code in that song. And what was tripped out about that when they were telling me that is while I was looking at the YouTube video, they were telling me, "Hey, we're going to slow it down." Do you know they slowed down that video so I can grasp the understand? It tripped me out. These are the kind of things when you are speaking with your ancestors, they're going to tell you things that some people don't know. Sometimes they'll let you share it, and sometimes they won't. They'll start showing you where it's embedded in the culture, where it's everywhere. I don't care what these, these preachers be saying. Dude, your whole style of preaching and all that is hoodoo style. So let's just cut it out. Where you think you got that from? You can talk all you want to against magic or hoodoo. That's in your bloodline. There's nothing you can do to get it out of there. It's in you. Now it's up to you to choose the how you want to use it, how you want to work it. But it's in there. It's no way. They made sure they put that in there. Okay? Because so soon as you start using it, you get results. And then the ancestors, they'll let you use it for so long. They'll be like, hey, now, if you're trying to go to the next level, you're going to have to put in some work. We got to be able to trust you. You might need to clean up your life a little bit. And that's another thing, too. You think, too, a lot of people think just because you start establishing a relationship with your ancestors, that you can go out here and be reckless and that your ancestors going to have your back. That is false. Because if you need a lesson, your ancestors going to let you get that lesson because you should have known better. They didn't raise you like that. They didn't put that in you. Don't think that you can go out here and be reckless because sometimes they let you get a lesson. Sometimes they do. They'll let you see for yourself. They didn't told you, but if you want to do it the way you want to do it, they'll let you get a list because you need to grow. They're not going to stop you from growing, but if you need guidance, they're there for that. But if you go out on your own and start doing raggedy stuff, you can ask them for mercy and grace. They'll give you mercy and grace somewhere, but that doesn't mean that you can go out here and start using your ancestors as guard dogs when you do stuff that's not right. I heard them being used like that too. Okay, but if you're stuck in your work and it's not working, we need to ask ourselves, how are we showing up to our work? Because magic is alive. It responds to your clarity, your energy, and your discipline. How disciplined are you? How, when you come to me with that, I'm going to go to troubleshooting. How much time are you invested in your magic? How much are you sitting down reading, comprehending, understanding your ancestors' stories and how these energies work? Are you sitting down understanding that so when you put things together, you have a working idea, you comprehend how it's going to work. You have connected with the land, you understand that magic is alive, you've connected with the roots, you understand the movement of air, of fire, you understand these elements, you understand the movement of water and how water works. You're not out here just fishing and want somebody to tell you something. Yeah, they can tell you, but if you don't sit down and understand that practice and your mind is not together, you do yourself a disservice and you're not getting all the spiritual knowledge and wisdom that your spirit guides and ancestors want to relate to you. You're not getting that. Okay? So again, do you have the discipline? Do you have the tenacity? Do you have determination? Because time is the currency in the spiritual realm. It's always been the main currency. Time has always been the main currency. Where's your time? What's distracting you? Okay? You really have to get disciplined. Okay? And if something is off, your results will reflect that. Okay? So if your mind is not right, your emotions is not right, or your intentions, that's not even what you need to be doing. Okay, and so you're trying to do it. Did you do a divination before that? Is that really what you need to be doing? Is that the real issue? Yeah, because these spirits gonna check you. You following spirit. You're not following no person now. This is when people start looking for people. That this is can get you, you can mess yourself up. You go looking at people, and then some people tell you, "Oh, it's a car." I hear that all the time, and I tell people all the time, it's less likely somebody than put a curse on you. That's very rare. That's very rare. No, 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 no. They're telling you this, when you really need to. He deals with you. Where did you come from? What are you doing with yourself? How are you spending your time? Who you spending your time around will mess up your magic too. Who you telling your business to? Because you cross yourself up. People thoughts and feelings are very strong, and they can slow up your progress, whether they're conscious or unconscious of it. It happens. Who you running your mouth to? Who you around? They got some energy that may be impacting yours, even your work. That's why you see a lot of people, real practitioners, they don't have a lot of friends in this work. And when they do, there's usually their spiritual sisters they do work with and healing with or something like that. But most people, the seasoned practitioners, they don't have a lot of friends because they understand energy. They understand the power of people's thoughts and emotions. And it's not, it's for more protection. And the more healed your mind is, the more you start seeing how sick people really are. If you still have a lot of friends on this path, then I have to question you. I got to look at those friends because it's going to change. Because you're living in a different reality. You're going into 5D. You're going into living in the spiritual realm. You don't even see things like other people. So if you're still living in a 3D reality and you still worried about 3D, other stuff and things like that, then it's only so far you're going to get with this. Is your eyes really open? You say you want to see that part. A lot of times they don't even know they sabotaging you. That's why they keep my mouth closed. And I tell people, don't tell me what your plans are. See, it's a good thing to keep your mouth closed. That's why I tell you that in hoodoo, the first thing your ancestors gonna have you doing is shutting up. They don't want you saying anything about nothing. They don't want you interacting, engaging. You gonna learn that you gonna do some growing. Growing is gonna happen. And the more you keep your mouth shut, the louder your spirits are going to get. This the part people don't like. But they want magic though. But you want to keep a raggedy life. I'm not judging you. But you better, if you're going to do that, you better know how to protect yourself. You better know how to cleanse yourself. You better know how to uncross yourself. If you better understand it. If you just plan on being raggedy like that, uh you better know how to how to take care of yourself. And some people do it, but it's only so far you're gonna get with it. Okay. And most, like I said, most practitioners they are not like Mike Black Magic Mike said. People thoughts, he gets it. People thoughts and emotions are stronger than what you think. They can be smiling in your face and wish you the very worst. And those energies, again, they don't just die. They start crossing you up, those intentions. They mean well. Some people mean well, but like I've told you all the time, people are flawed. And I've done that work because I've looked at myself. I'm not perfect. I'm flawed. So how I think another human being, I can trust another human being to give me all the answers. When I know my own ego, I know myself. I know when I know myself, I can therefore examine the working mind of others around me. You see, you don't know yourself. You're not truthful with yourself. What I was reading something about psychology. What is the man, he looked at the Machiavellian mind, and he was talking about humans wear a mask. They wear a mask, and they do. Authenticity is very rare in this reality. If you authentic, most of them are uh said crazy, okay, odd, the orchestras. Authenticity, you see it on this app. You see, you know, some people do the same thing over and over again. There's no authenticity here. They're steady showing you spells, steady doing tarot card readings. It's just no and some of it look the same. It's like they're copying each other. It's not unique. It's almost identical. Some of the way they read and things like that. It's almost identical. There's a lack of authenticity. And if you are authentic, uh, then you're gonna have a hard time. But it's also a confirmation that you're on the right path. Okay, it's a confirmation too. This is what everybody's scared of. They're scared. Some people are scared of being authentic. They're scared of being their true self. And magic requires that. That's where your magic is going to be. Not following nobody else, but going within. Finding out who you truly are. Not following other people. They can teach you, and you think they're teaching me. Ultimately, you're going to have to learn from spirits. Okay? You can have all the right herbs, you can have all the right tools, but if you don't actually have a connection to what you're using, it's just off. It's just stuff. I've seen people, they're setting a candle, but you pouring all these herbs in there, and it doesn't take a lot of herbs to do a fixed candle. It doesn't take all that. No one is praying over it. Nobody is blowing smoke over it. Nobody is consecrating it. No one is sanctifying the candle, then it go to burning. All of these things matters. What connections do you have with your tools, your herbs, everything that you're using? Do you understand that everything that you're using is alive? Some of you are doing work while emotionally overwhelmed. You may be distracted, or you just actually, you just second guessing everything. I heard someone recently that the universe doesn't reward morality but authenticity. It does. Being authentic, being your true self. You are what you are, understanding that. And then understanding the things that you're trying to accomplish on your path. Does it require, what frequency does it require? What frequency does it require for the thing that you're asking for? Is it going to require you to grow and get on a higher frequency? This is where you see people, they'll go work with, it comes in too, where you'll see people, they sometimes they, to avoid doing this, I'll say, you see them go conjure with another spirit. This can be, I don't recommend that, not unless it is a saint or angel or something like that. But even with that, at some point, working with the saint and angel, they're going to require you to do some work on your end at some point. Okay, if you emotionally overwhelmed, you second guessing everything, wondering why nothing is landing, uh please don't be distracted. Okay, And some people, they hold on to the spell so tightly, trying to figure out when it's gonna happen, when it's gonna happen. It ain't happened yet. Magic doesn't work like that. Okay, you have to release it and let it go. If you done the work and you in alignment, it's gonna work. Because you know the work, you understand it. If you understood the work, and understood what you were doing, you'll know you wouldn't worry about it because you already know it works. Because you'll know that you're in alignment. You won't be wondering about things, keep stressing and checking things. But if you are a warrior, that specific type of magic that you can do, uh, that'll be beneficial to you. I had to learn that too on my path. Okay, that specific type of magic that you can do, that you can work, that would be beneficial to you, to help you transmute that. But if you don't know anything about this and you don't know anything about yourself, some of us don't even know ourselves, or not even real with ourselves, and we're trying to pick up magic. Okay, and we're gonna stay, if you're not growing, it just leaves you susceptible to these other energies, uh to take over you. You saw that when someone came out and was telling another worker, which that was embarrassing. I would have kept that to myself, because what kind of worker are you is going to do work on somebody else because they jealous of a person, and you're going to do the work? So you're going to mess up your relationship with these spirits and things like this, because this person don't want to go heal. They don't want to deal with their jealous issues. But because they have enough money, see how you get yourself crossed up? I don't know what spirits you was working with, but you have. I'm not gonna say it's not people like that, but you best believe that ain't gonna turn out good for them in the long run. Believe me when I tell you this. That is not gonna work. I wouldn't dare go to my ancestors, put something on my table like that. My ancestors would light me up. You better not do nothing like that. You better not. You gonna do nothing, mess yourself up, and we gonna let you too. We gonna let you get your lesson, and don't call us when the regular stuff start happening, because we are not gonna save you. They've done me like that before. Okay, they've done me say, "Hey, we told you not to do that. We gonna save you, but you gonna sit in this mess for a little bit." So don't think that it ain't no consequences. Okay, so you see people that do that, they don't have, they will do it, but in the long run, it doesn't turn out good for them. Trust me, I know. Okay. And some people, if we're being honest, skip the foundation completely and went straight to heavy work. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend doing any heavy hoodoo work, complex, uh, spells and things like that that you see. Because one thing I know about working with ancestors and working with spirits, they don't show you no complex stuff. They're gonna be having you doing simple stuff and knocking your socks off with it. You're gonna be like, "Oh my God, that worked." Yeah, it worked. Because they told you what to do. You understood what these things done, what they do. And then you went to your ancestors, your spirit guides, and they told you, pick that up and put that right there and then do this, and that's gonna work. It's gonna trip you out when they tell you that. It's gonna be something so simple. Some don't nobody else know, but be simple, simple, simple stuff that work. They're gonna be none. And as your practice go on, then they'll, you want to grow. Then they'll start showing you complex things. But when you first start off, they don't have you doing any heavy work like that. They just don't. It'll be something simple. And I would recommend that you keep it like that to keep down a lot of confusion until you understand how magic works and how the spirits, these plant spirit works, how water spirits work, how fire spirits work, because all of this is a spirit. Okay. And sometimes the issue is not the spell, it's you. being called to clean up your energy, your emotions, and your discipline. That happens. Old energy, past work, unresolved feelings, all of that builds up. How often are you cleansing yourself? Hello, that homeschooler. No, you haven't missed much. Have you been cleansing yourself? These are things that I ask you when you start telling me. Uh, that's one thing I love the ancestors put into me because I want you to get results. So when you come to me and you tell me that something ain't working, I'm gonna be. Don't ask me because we're gonna get the problem solved. Okay, and then you're gonna have work to do. Go do it. I'm not doing your work. You're doing your own work. So if you got old energy, I'm gonna be asking you that. What you been doing? How you feeling? What you got going on in your life? Who live with you? Who running in and out the house? You been in? I'm gonna get in your business because again, you telling me I ain't working, and I need to know what's going on with you because I want your stuff to work, and you're the biggest component. So don't be blaming. Ain't nobody cursing you. Sometimes it ain't nobody cursing us. It's us crossing ourselves up with our own shenanigans. It's okay. You human. It's gonna happen. Okay, I want you to beat yourself up, but I'm also gonna recommend, go talk to your ancestors. Do this, such and that. But go talk to your ancestors and do a reading. Did you do a reading with your ancestors? Did you do that? Do you what you got going on for a divination? Did you do a divination before you did it? All these questions I'm gonna be asking you. Okay. By the time the mission there is treating you like a practitioner and giving you all the tools you need to be successful in your work, holding you accountable. Stop blaming and pointing at other people. What did you do? Okay. What are you doing? Okay. Sometimes the yellow tape and the scene of the crime need to be around you. Yes. Because you're your biggest component. The magic is coming from you. It's coming from your thoughts, coming from your energy. It's coming from you. So what's going on with you? Your energy matters. Stop thinking that this something happened on the outside of you. This is on the inside of you. We're trying to get, if we truly want our world to change, and we truly want to see a difference in our world, the inner alchemy has to happen. You say you understand alchemy, but do you really understand alchemy? Some people want to work with Oshun and want to work with Shango, but you don't have that inner alchemy, those characters, those attributes inside you to be able to embody the energy. And this is all about alignment, learning how to align yourself with those energies and embody them. That's alchemy. See, people talking, they're using these words and stuff and saying all this pretty stuff, and they ain't none of them walking it. Ain't none of them doing it. If they was, I wouldn't be sitting up here. Okay, I wouldn't be sitting up here if they really understood it. Telling you about alchemy and all this stuff. Did you tell them people they got to change their mind in the way the things being able to control their emotions and knowing how to use them in their work? Are you telling them that? Or are you just saying the word alchemy and all that stuff because it sounds smart? It sounds like you know what you're talking about, but are you living it? And so I said, be watching these people. Just seen some boy the other day. It said he went and saw somebody. They was very influential up here on one of these social medias, and I think the boy played a flute or something. See, he went up there and flew down there and go see the boy because he was so inspired by the boy. That's what I'm telling y'all. Be watching these people. Say he went down there to see the boy, okay, and went down there and the boy is all messed up, just sick, okay. He just sick. Just he needed to fix his own life instead of be interacting with other people. He need to be fixing his life. He said he couldn't believe it because this show that he puts on social media. This is the thing now. People are wearing a lot of masks. People are wearing a lot of masks. As I said, humans are flawed. They, It ain't. It just is. I can look at my own self and say that. I'm not talking about anyone else. I'm able to know myself, know who I am, looking at the ego, looking at how the mind works. Because we have both these energies inside of us. And if we don't know how to control our emotions, and if we don't have any control over our mind, our thoughts, we're not shifting and growing, then you're gonna have flaws. Okay, you still got people, for example, you got people thinking it's okay to treat black people like crap, but then they want to claim that they're spiritually superior to you, and they want you to listen to them and follow their religion the way, you know, the way they see it. And you don't think humans are flawed. And then we had our ancestors sitting up in these, grasp that religion 100%, walking around here with a white tee Jesus. You seeing it yourself. It's easy for humans to be flawed if they don't grow. Okay? You're not growing, you're not shifting, you're not going to those other frequencies. You're not going to be able to communicate with their higher beings because they live on a higher conscious frequency. They're not just outside of you, they're within you as well. These are archetypes that are within you. We just covered this, you guys. Okay, so if you're not doing the work, you know, what you think gonna happen? Okay, it's gonna feel like your work gonna be dragging. You gonna, that's how it's gonna feel. If you're feeling sluggish, it's not hitting. It's not doing what you want to do. You feel like you're hitting a wall. Okay, it doesn't mean that you're not powerful. It doesn't mean that you can't fix it. You can fix it, but are you ready to fix it? That's the question to ask. I have to ask people because when we start, I start providing you insight. Your ancestors start coming through. Your spirit guides start coming through, and these insights start coming up. And they're giving them to you. It's up to you to do the work. Okay, it's up to you to shift and do the work. And sometimes that's required for what you're asking for. A lot of people say they want power. They want to be able to access these energies, but do you? I've seen occultists talk about this same thing. Who did that? What is his name? It wasn't Albert Moline. It was another magician. I can't think of his name right now. Gosh, his name just escapes me. But it was another occultist, and he talked about Cornelius Agrippa. That's his name, or Cornelius Agrippa. Cornelius Agrippa talked about this same thing when he started doing planetary magic and working with archangels through accessing planetary magic. And he talked about how he was trying to control this energy, and it just backfired on him every time. Same thing with Abermaline magic. Okay, if you don't have no control over yourself and you're trying to control these spirits, you don't have no control over yourself, then it's only so far you're going to get. Mind has to be ready and ready to grow. There is levels to this. Okay? It means you're at a point where you have to grow. And not everybody chooses to do that part. This is why I always tell people start simple. Start simple. Start simple. Start understanding, cleanse, protect, build your connection. That's the main thing, when you get started over there, that's beginners levels. Cleanse, protect, and build your connection. Sometimes that's all you need to fix things. That's all you need to fix things is build, again, cleanse, protect, and build your relationship with your elevated ancestors. Sometimes that's all you need to start. You'll start seeing your life start to straighten up. Your ancestors start fixing stuff. You ain't even asked them to fix it. But because you was over there talking to them, not talking to Susan May and Jody and all them folks on the phone, you was over there telling your ancestors about what's going on with you. Because now they're your therapists, they're your best friends. They're the ones who actually can help you, who actually can do things that probably no one else could do. Okay, so when you again, when you're doing this and you're being consistent, consistency is key. The same way we love the, and I have to say it like that, especially if from the younger generation. Some of us are so tied to these phones and social media, we don't know how to spend an hour or, hours so off of them for our spiritual development. Discipline is key here. I don't know, it's discipline. A lot of people don't like that word. They have a bad connotation with that word. But let's use the word more structure. If you have a problem with discipline, structure, because all these energies that you're trying to line up with, these universal laws and universal energies that you're trying to line up with, they require that to work with them. There's even structure in chaos. No matter, people say I like chaos, man. There's even structure in chaos. There's got to be some type of structure. You're welcome, Cat the Taurus. There's even structure. There has to be some structure to a world, that don't like, even though magic is not a religion, it is not a religion, it is a magical practice. There's still universal laws, esoteric knowledge and wisdom that must be followed for you to get positive results. But if you don't understand that, and you know, it might hang you up. Do you have to know everything? No. You don't have to know everything, but you should have a basic understanding of how it works. Don't you want to know that? I want to know that. I'm nosing how that worked, how I was able to do that. Oh, now I know how I was able to do that. Now I know how does the working mechanics work. I know how it works now. I know how divination works now. I know how spirits works now. Don't you want to know how it works? And no matter what anyone tells you, me and the ancestors that just burned me up. Anyone tell you magic is spiritual? I don't know anyone, and I will say this again for the people in the back. You can get mad at me. Show me somebody who ain't working with a spirit that's doing magic. I will wait. Point them out to me. They ain't working with no elements, elemental spirits. They not working with no plant spirits. Show me, point them to me. They ain't working with no angels, no saints, no planetary deities or anything like that. Point them to me. Because that's what you're going to run in here. This ain't nothing. These are spirits that you're working with. And that is, you better get that through your head right now. That'd be some of the problem. I don't care what people showing you this is some type of play pretty. No, these are spirits. And stop coming up here showing them stuff like that when they don't understand that they are working with fire spirits. They are working with water spirits. They are working with plant spirits. They are working with spirits. And you know, I think the most oddest thing that I've seen in this practice is that people will have a full magical altar and scared for their ancestors to be in there, but they in there working magic raw dog with no protection. Ain't nothing put down in the house. The house ain't protected. They ain't took no spiritual bath. They got all types of gunk on them, but they in there working magic. They don't know what nothing about the plant spirit or if there is a particular spirit with that magic. Some of us don't think of that. I'm not saying it's your fault, not trying to guilt trip you. That's not what I'm doing. I'm bringing awareness to what's going on here so you can really question what's going on. I'm going to take a little. I'm not trying to attack you. It's not bringing awareness here so you understand what's going on here. That everything is spirit. I can't tell you when the ancestors. I'm seeing this now. Uh, I, now with myself. Now I wonder why my ancestors was sitting me out there. It didn't make no sense at first to me. They had me outside on that land, going to the mounds, doing rituals at the mounds. They even sent a woman to me because I told them, I said, y'all got me doing shamanic work. How's this hoodoo? I feel like a shaman. That's what I told them. Says I feel like a shaman. You got me out here in the connecting, talking to trees and doing meditations outside. I'm going to the mounds, talking to those ancestors out there. You got me talking to the land. Had the land talking back to me. I said, what is this? What you got me doing? Then they sent this lady to me that gave me a black obsidian dagger, and those are kind of very rare in my neck of the woods where I was. And I'm like, what? You know, it wasn't making sense. And then, they had me. I like praying on trees. That's if you can get to you a tree and you can get close because they're like Wi-Fi lines right into the ancestral realm. If you can get to you a tree and start doing libations and start talking to that tree, they're gonna connect you directly with the ancestors. That's the quickest way to get to it. If you want to get to them quick, you need to get to a tree, start pouring libations and start talking because it's like a Wi-Fi line into with them. They transmit that information so quickly for you. Okay, and they're your eldest brothers and sisters. They know when they look at you, they can see generations in you. They can see. You don't think that, but they can. So I talked to that land over there, went over there and worked with that land. And I'm starting to see, okay, something is happening here. I'm just not putting this together with my little slow mind. Now them crops over there growing like crazy. This happened again when I was in the States where these dandelions start growing everywhere when I asked them could I work with them. And I was sitting talking to my ancestors because I was trying to figure out what was going on with these roots growing out this ground because I was praying at that tree and I didn't want to bring no more suspicion to myself because people are starting to notice when I go down to that tree. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to back up off that tree. I don't like the way I'm feeling. People staring when I go down there. I don't like it. You know, even had one of the ladies that work here, cleaning ladies, she started saw me going out and she just started watching me and stuff. I was like, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. 'Cause I don't need nobody trying to figure out what I got going on. I like to be discreet as possible. I don't want nobody trying to figure out, asking me what I got going on. So I went over there and I went across the street to across the way where there's a garden, a big crop over there. It's more than a garden; it's crops. Went over there and I prayed on that land, paid the land, and buried my work over there. After that, that thing is shooting up, just growing like crazy. It's like, what is going on, ancestors? Why is this happening? I kind of feel like this got something to do with me because I didn't see that until I prayed on this land. I said, why do you think we had you going to the land? What was your grandmother? Your grandmother always had a garden. She was always growing something. Your grandma had a whole bunch of plants. What your mama do? Your mama always growing some. She had a whole bunch of plants. That's in your line. Your relationship with the land is in your line. Okay? I had no idea. They just told me. I think I shared that with some of you on my platform because I'm tripping out like I'm feeling guilty, like, oh, did I do that? Especially with these roots growing out this sand in front of my condo. But you're not gonna know until you start following them and listening to them. You ain't gonna know what you got. See, I didn't know I had that. I was just wondering, like, why do what is that? What is going on? Why is that happening? I don't know what the fella feel about that. Okay. But this is one reason why they was taking me out to the land, talking to the land. Okay. They will have you connecting with things, letting you see how connected you are to everything, helping you gain your power. Okay. When you learn the tools instead of collecting them, take your time because real power in hoodoo is built not in rush. You have to sit down and slow down. You're gonna hear now if you're in our community, you're gonna hear me say that a lot. Get somewhere and sit down and be quiet. Be quiet, rest, rest. And this is when I know that you're in survival mode and that you need to be healing because you'll be trying to convince me how you don't have time. Then I have to shut you down. I have to tell you get somewhere and be quiet. I don't want to hear it no more. Find time to rest. You're making up that's the ego talking. You don't want to sit down and be quiet. And that's what you're gonna have to do. Because that's the issue. Sometimes it's just that simple. And you're gonna see, I tell you all the time, you think that's lazy when resting is work because you don't know how to do it. Because somebody told you you got to be moving all the time. You got to be doing something. Resting is really the big flex and the biggest spell that you can learn on this journey when you know how to do it. It puts you in a homeostasis state and it gives you more control over time. And when people see that, I've had many members say, "Oh my God, Miss Penny, now I got all the time in the world. I just don't understand how that's working." I said, "I don't understand it either, but I have to tell you to do it so you will see it for yourself. Stop it with the lies to yourself. Yes, you do have time. It's your time. It's the most precious thing you have, the precious currency you have. Get control over it. Get down, get somewhere and sit down and be quiet. Listen to you. Find out what's going on the inside of you. It's nothing on the outside of you that they fooling you. Okay? They're tricking you with these two eyes trick you. We need to go on the inside and look at the inner vision. Because everybody that you seeing out here, believe me, they're trying to trick you at your energy. That's what this is about. This is about manipulating your energy through your mind and through your emotions. This is about brainwashing you, cutting off your power. And if you constantly gonna be looking on the outside of you for answers, you ain't gonna get them. You're gonna get them by getting somewhere and sitting down and understanding how energy works. Okay, the first thing you need to clear is your mind. Hoodoo is what it isn't. Okay. I've seen too many beginners get confused because they started with the wrong understanding. Your mental approach will determine whether your hoodoo practice succeeds or fails. If you think you're gonna exploit these spirits and just take, and you ain't gonna do no work, you got another thing coming. It doesn't work like that. Spiritual realm is currency. Your time is currency. Doing good deeds. Uh, yeah, yeah. You ain't gonna just exploit these spirits like no, no, uh. There's gonna be some currency going on, whether it be your time, charity, giving back in some type of way like that. But you ain't gonna exploit many. Now this is where a lot of occultists they thought they was gonna get in here and do that, and then they get somewhere and they run. No spirits they won't do what I got. They do that with some of our ATR spirits. They do that um with Shango. They do it. They don't like working with them, and they deem them as demons because those spirits require you to do some work before they move for you. And so y'all get mad because you can't exploit them. They're evil, they're demonic. No, you can't control them. You're gonna have to get in alignment with what you're trying to do. They require you to grow and elevate. They don't do trivial things. They require you to do some work on your part. They require you to get in alignment with the energy. No, you can't just boss them spirits around. Okay, if you don't understand that, but the way it's being presented here, uh, it's easy to think that. Okay, it's easy for us to think that, but you have to do things on your part. That's just like anything that I ask my ancestors for or anything they do, they'll let me know because they let me know the other day. It's time for you to do some more inner child work. The wound's kind of still hanging out. We need you to look at that. Did I like that? Nope. I didn't like that. But I knew they wasn't lying. Okay? Spirit is not going to always tell you what you want to hear. And you have to be willing to be open for the wisdom and correction. They because you're building trust with them. And they wouldn't tell you that, especially if it's your elevated ancestors, you working with archangels, they're really good about that. They're gonna be, looking at you and say, "Hey, it's you, beloved. You're not walking in that energy, so that's why you can't access it. It's this wound right here you need to deal with. It's this right here that's in your way." And I knew they wasn't lying because I was feeling that. Okay, so you have to be open to that. You're not perfect. Get that out your mind because if you was perfect, you wouldn't need magic now, would you? You wouldn't be picking this up. So get that out your mind either. Get that out your mind. People, you got somebody over here acting like, because you see some people acting like that they is just the know the a whole thing, and they no, we don't. We still are children up under our ancestors, our elevated ancestors, and you're gonna feel that way. Okay, it keeps you open. It keeps you learning. It keeps you growing. Okay, but if you think you know everything and you can do everything or whatever, you just messing up your relationship with some of these spirits. Okay? Hoodoo is not a religion. You are free to practice any religion or none at all and still practice hoodoo. Okay? No matter what the way our magic work is hoodoo is only gonna amplify your religion. If you're working hoodoo, you're gonna see the magic in your religion and you're gonna be using your religion as magic. Okay, it's just gonna amplify it. That's all it's gonna do. You could be any religion and practice hoodoo. It is an ancestral magic. What's gonna happen is gonna help you amplify your religion and put magic in it. That's what it's gonna do. I gotta be perfectly clear for you, cause clear. I gotta say it many times, cause these folks over here telling you that hoodoo is Christian. It was never Christian. Okay, it hid under Christianity. Cause you go in the black church, we doing stuff that ain't Christian, but we Christianize it. We made it look Christian, so we wouldn't be judged or orchestrized, but it ain't Christian. We already broke that down. Okay, it ain't Christian. This is embedded in every area in our culture, in our church. And who do you create your own personal magic using the knowledge you have of the various roots, herbs, and other elements? It is about establishing a connection with spirits around us. It is a way of life. Are you spending time in nature? Do you take the time and listen to the birds chirp? What kind of birds are around you? Do you see squirrels all the time or deer? The universe is always talking to us if we pay attention. Sometimes we miss the messages. Okay. How much time are you spending with the world around you? After all, this is the energy that you're using in your magic. You're using dirt. Okay. You're using the land. You're using the roots. All of that is coming from the land. You're using water. All of these are spirits. How are you communicating with these spirits? How are you connecting with them? Turn the phone off, get off social media, get somewhere and sit down. You sitting at the altar. What are you doing? What rituals do you have in place to keep you in alignment? Because we covered that over there. Get you right into ritual. I want you to get you right into ritual because the thing is, if I get you doing the protection work, um, get you doing the ritual, being consistent with your ancestor veneration, my goal is to start your initiation process. to start so you can have a stronger connection. That's why I'm telling you to be consistent. So I'm telling you, get somewhere and be quiet. How often are you doing the ritual? How often are you cleansing? Okay. That's my goal to get you initiated. I don't want you following me. Because when you go to tell me, well, what I should do, what did your ancestors tell you to do? This gonna tell me if you're doing the work, because you're gonna be looking like a deer now. What you mean, my ancestors? We have already talked about this. I don't know. Yes, you do know. You don't want to know. You don't want to be accountable. You're trying to run away from your power again. I'm not doing this with you. Get somewhere and sit down. Let's see what your ancestors said. Do you have a divination? Okay, stop listening. I don't want you to be listening to me. I want you to be trusting you. That is the issue here. It's always going to go back to you, beloved. I'm always going to get your power back to you. Okay, my job is to mentor you into trusting yourself, to trusting, making sure you gain that pace of personal power in relationship with your ancestors. I want you to start seeing the initiation process when you start seeing things manifest in your reality. We have a variety of rituals over there that you can choose and put together, something that'll work with you. Because it's not a one size fit all. Magic is about finding out what works for you, what helps you tap into you. It's not a one size fit all. But once you start the ritual, one thing we can agree on, once you get started with them rituals being consistent in it, something is gonna happen. Because you mean business and them spirits watching you. Them spirit don't think they don't, they be watching you. They love when you consistent and spending your time. They watching, they have to show up. They don't have a choice. If you doing your part, they have to show up. And honey, it's been like that too with them. I tell them, I'm tenacious. I ain't gonna stop calling you because I know you got to show up. I ain't playing with you. I ain't playing. I'm for real. That's how I talk to them. That's how I talk to them. I ain't playing with you. I'm for real. I ain't gonna stop calling you. I ain't gonna stop crying. I ain't gonna stop calling. I ain't gonna stop like count. You gonna come, okay? I know you got to come. That's kind of attitude and to be tenacity you have to have. A matter of surety, and they love that. Okay. But most importantly, you need to acknowledge and have a reverence for spirits of your ancestors. And who do we understand that there are spirits constantly around us? Those spirits can either serve or harm depending on how you treat them. Okay? Depends on you. So why we do a lot of keeping our mouth shut too. And the more you keep your mouth shut, you keep your mouth closed and really evaluate what's going on the inside of you, the more you're going to be able to see these spirits. It ain't going to be looking like the way you think, like ghosts and paranormal. Not always. Not always. But once you start keeping your mouth shut, you'll start seeing it. You'll start seeing hoodoo everywhere. I can't. I remember when the ancestors opened my eyes. I don't know. They opened my eyes, and one day I saw hoodoo everywhere. I saw the trees moving and talking. I saw the grass being alive. Everything was alive. Hoodoo was everywhere. I couldn't escape it. It was in the song. It was everywhere. They let me see that everywhere. I said, "Oh my God, it's everywhere." They said, "Yeah, we ain't never left." I just opened up and I seen everything was alive. I cannot put that into words for you. I just can't. And to me, when I see trees and stuff like that, I see them as a person, a living thing. I don't see them as just a tree. And I look at herbs and things like that. I don't see that as just a herbs. I see little spirits. I know they little spirits. If it wasn't, if they wasn't spirits and they wasn't contributing, how do are they supporting our life if they're not alive? See, it just all this. You don't see it because you still looking at it from the 3D. You ain't never spoke with a plant. You don't know that crystals and things like that, they are alive. They already let you know that they're emitting energy. They're alive. They're giving off a frequency. They're giving off. You may not be able to hear it with the 3D hearing, but they're alive. Okay. That's why our ancestors call this root work, because the Buck of Hoodoo centers around the use of roots, herbs, both for the physical and spiritual aid. Understanding plant spirits and working with them respectfully is absolutely essential for serious practitioners. We're just not picking this stuff up and not feeling the energy, not talking to it, setting intentions. Hakatu, we are actually putting in the work. We're actually sitting down, getting to know the plants, the herbs, and all of that. We're talking to the plants. They already showed you that when you talk to water, water has memory. It can either even make images. They already showed you that if you talk to a plant, you know, positive, you'll see it grow and thrive. If you talk to a plant negative, it will most likely wither and die. This is alive. You need to understand this. Get this in your head. Okay? Our ancestors understood this. Okay? You can see that a lot. What's his name? George Washington Carver and his relationship with plants. The biggest root worker in history, probably. George Washington Carver. He said he could tell you what a plant can do for you just by looking at it. Okay? And we have the doctor's your signature too. You'll see that, whatever a plant look like, even foods, different foods. Again, they let you know what they're good for by looking at them, what they look like, what is their shape, what is their color. When I heard you talk about land spirits, I started talking to what I call the deities of the freeway and the deities of the streets on my way to work. I be making good time on the way to work. See, when you talk, I'm telling you, the land that is alive, especially that land in hoodoo. I got to repeat this again. And I've just seen, I think they're having their voodoo ceremonies over there somewhere in Africa. And it's interesting to me, had an ancestor be working with me. And the person that's doing a documentary, they were saying, hey, there are different types of voodoo because there's different lineages. This is why I tell you on that land in America, we got our own voodoo. Why are you going out somewhere else? Because voodoo is connected to the land. Our practices are connected to the land. When you go out somewhere else, beyond Africa, you have indigenous American Indian ancestors. You'll see some of that in Abanda and in Brazil. They include those ancestors, even though they have a voodoo or a Orisha practice there. They have to include those ancestors in that practice, or it doesn't work. It ain't gonna work because the magic's from the land. That's why you'll see too when you go out somewhere to initiate, they have to give you palm oil and all that stuff that come from that land. You don't have that in the Americas. You don't have that in America. They're using their stuff from their ancestral lands. That's not native to the American land. That's why I tell you, please get this together first before you do that. Because what I'm finding, many of y'all find yourself in the pickle and be led astray because you didn't get it right with your ancestors first. You didn't talk with your ancestors first. You didn't get aligned with them first before you carried yourself over there. If you got this together first and connected with the ancestors on the American land, that land there has its own magic. And it's just as powerful than any other place that you're trying to go to. Okay? Look at the pyramids there. Look at how people are trying to be like you. I tell you that all the time. People are trying to be like you. And you think that their magic is more powerful than you and your ancestors. These are some of the same people that is still trying to decolonize and still think like colonizers. That you're going over there. In fact, let a lot of them are letting colonizers join their religion. I'm trying to bring some sense into you. I don't know why it confuses me when I see y'all do that. Like, what the hell wrong? Why would you know how many people I've had to talk to that said that they went over there and got initiated and they don't know where they is on their journey. They don't know what's up, what's down. Why did you go over there and do that? Why did you think there was gonna be more? What are you doing? You got your own voodoo. You got your own ancestral magic here. That's why when I see voodoo people try to tell me, well, voodoo is a religion. Get somewhere and sit down and be quiet. You don't know what you're talking about. Hush. It's ancestral. Hush your mouth. You don't know what you're talking about. Then I have to educate again, show you resources and things, showing you what this is. Again, to unpack all that programming, because you're talking like a colonizer when you get to talking about religion. I need you to be quiet. That's your ancestral tradition. That's what that is. Just like hoodoo is our ancestral traditional magic. That is what that is. Stop it with the religion. You acting like a colonizer. We got our own stuff over here in America. Got our own stuff over there in America. There's no reason for you. It's more power there than it is somewhere else. Because the people trying to be like you. Now you tell me what it is. Tell me what it is. But you going over there. But you got old shamans and all sorts of roots and plants and magical places and stuff right there in the Americas. You got folks see your magic and your spirit in you, try to dress like you, talk like you, and really trying to steal your identity. But they don't like you. And you think they're more powerful than you. Please make this make sense to me. I hope I'm helping some of you, because some of you probably ain't never seen it like this before. You're probably asking yourself now, why the hell do I want to do that? Dude, what the hell am I thinking about? Why would I think something like that? What's the matter with me? You set the tone for music, you set the tone for fashion, you set the tone. But you think again that ancestors on that land is more powerful. There's more powerful magic on that land than what you think. Okay? We have our own type of hoodoo. We have our own type of voodoo. And I'm not talking about no religion. I don't care what other people, they got their own traditions with their ancestors, with their lineage. Anytime you talking to an ancestors, you communicating with elevated ancestors, you doing voodoo. That's why we can't talk about hoodoo without studying voodoo. You got to, because these are the same type of spirits we got in hoodoo that got in voodoo. You can't talk about. You're gonna see it every time. Okay. I hope it's making sense to you. And some of you probably never thought of it that way. Maybe some of you, I'm probably making you think and be like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. She might be on to something. She cooking over here. She is cooking. What are we doing over here? I hope you're thinking about that. Do not, that's like a slap in the face of your ancestors. They use the herbs, they use the land and all that for their healing, for their magic. And you go over there and go on somebody else's land and trying to get lined up with their ancestors. Because believe me, land spirits are going to be included in that initiation. Any initiation, we honor nature. We honor every part of nature. Has even the ancestors on that land. So yeah, that matters. So keep that in your mind when you call yourself running off somewhere in a land that your ancestors been there probably all their life, because they telling us folks come from Africa, but the ancestors said that ain't true. The ancestors said they've been there for 100,000 years. They ain't come from no Africa. They Now them people came over there and they became Americans, but a lot of us are still already there. I believe the ancestors. I don't believe the colonizer. Now, if you want to go on with that story, I done broke that down to you. You want to go on with that story just because you want to be a willingly ignorant. Okay, you just want to be with the programming. I already told you the dodge the hijacking what that was. You got too many indigenous ancestors that's coming forth now saying we are American Indian. Your ancestors told you themselves that some of y'all was Indians. Okay, and then we don't do it no good that we got what's the man name? Omar Johnson over there tripped me out. He was trying to help them steal reparations away from us. He was going to court with them people, trying to help them people get reparations, and they are not descendants uh, of slaves, of what happened to our ancestors, of prisoners of war. They are not descendants of that, and they think they. And Dr. Omar Johnson is right there in there with them. All the shady, look at that, people. Okay, I need you to look at that. I'm sorry to bring this up, but we have to talk about what's going on here and what it means for you spiritually. Now, these folks and I already tricked us with their Christian religion and gave us a heaven and a hell and said it's okay. God said it's okay for them to do all kind of stuff to us. Okay, and then you got these people over here. They letting them folks come up in their religion and initiate for all sorts of money and all that kind of stuff. And now they're trying to take your reparations. You tell me what's going on. Okay. As all of them like that, probably not, but we can't, it is happening in our community. We cannot dismiss the fact that these things are happening in our community. And it is good to be spiritually aware before you go over there. And this might be some of y'all choices for some reason or another. People go over there. But if you're going to go over there and this is what you want to do, make sure that your ancestral initiation process is together in hoodoo, because that's your first inheritance. That's your first magical inheritance before you do anything else. Probably don't want to hear that. I didn't do it. The ancestors embedded in everywhere. I can't say it ain't there because they embedded it everywhere. They put it in your culture. They put it in the music. They put it in the church. So it must be a big deal. They want you to know about it because they put it everywhere. And so when you go over there and you forget that, you know, that's probably gonna mess you up. Okay. Now, a good thing that I do when people first get into this, if you're a beginner and you say, Miss Penny, I'm confused. I don't know anything. Now, what I find here too is people love their natal chart. And the natal chart is full of information. After all, it is who we are. So if we can break down your natal chart hoodoo style, that'll give us insight into what the work that you need to be doing, what work you need to be doing with your ancestors, what elements that you're going to work well with in your chart, what angels or saints or things like that, especially with angels or planetary work that you need to be doing in your chart to put you in alignment with the magic that you're trying to do. I find it to be 80, it's 80 to 90% uh accurate what I've seen. When I'm able to break this down and look at it, it gives you something to work from. You have a working syllabus. It becomes your soul map, your spirit map for your spiritual development and growth. And you probably know your natal chart, but are you using it to refine yourself and get you in alignment with your goals, with the things that you want to accomplish? Do you know what's in your fortune? Do you know what kind of work you need to be doing to focus on creating abundance in your life? Where is your abundance coming from? Where is it in your chart? What type of energy or activities create natural abundance and prosperity for you? What herbs do you need to be focused on working with that'll work well with you that's in your chart? Yeah, you can find all that out. Okay, so you see the natal chart, but some of us we don't know how to use it to help us grow or to help us develop or help us in our magic. And your natal chart would definitely do that. Okay, you'll have something to look at for sure. This is what it is. This is what I need to be doing. This is what's in my chart. I see my wounds. I see my shadow work. I see the things I need to be growing in to put me in line with the magic. I see where I'm at right now and what I need to be doing right now to get in alignment. It's just it can be as simple as that. Okay, I think it is good to have so you'll know what you'll be working with. Okay, so when magic doesn't work, it can be a learning opportunity, revealing issues with intentions, execution, external factors that may have influenced the outcome. So again, if your magic is not working, something is off. Again, look at you. What is going on? Who is around you? Did you, and if you're with me, I'm not gonna I just say, well, you need to go cleanse and you need to go do that. No. I have a series of prime questions that's going to help us narrow down what's going on with you. Okay. So if you come to me and so I tell you, well, Miss Penny, I did this and this didn't work, I'm gonna start prying because I thank God for the ancestors because they're gonna tell me, ask her this. Okay. And sometimes your ancestors will tell me, she doing this and that, and I be like, I can't tell her that, them that, because they're gonna be upset. Well, ask her, is she doing this and that then? You know, sometimes your ancestors tell me to ask you something, and it be the right thing for me to ask you too. Okay, or sometimes my ancestors say, ask her this or this or that, or because she doing this, and she ain't gonna tell you, but ask her this, because it's gonna let you know what they doing or what he doing. Okay, we're gonna get down to the bottom of it. You think it doesn't have anything to do with you, but sometimes it does. Now, on rare occasions, it's somebody that's trying to throw something at you. That's very rare. Okay. Sometimes you cast a spell with all the hope in your heart, nothing happens, no shimmer, no shift, no little nudge from the universe. It can feel discouraging, especially when the magic felt so right in the moment. Don't do that in the moment. When timing is important. Some of us we doing work and we ain't even timed it right. It ain't even the right time. We ain't got none of the energies available at that time to even be doing that work. That matters. Okay. But honestly, every practitioner hits this wall at some point. It doesn't mean you're not powerful. It doesn't mean that your magic failed. It just needs that something needs an adjustment. Okay, it can be adjustments. That's one thing about it because magic is about shifting, transforming, and changing. I went to do a reading, uh, and this been here lately. I think it's good. I've been doing heavy meditation rituals. I've been doing heavy um inner work. Just inner work. The ancestors got me in there, just really doing some heavy work. And so before I got in this work, my readings were I was getting so pissed off at myself. I was like, why? I just like, I was getting so mad. It's like that's the problem. That is your problem. You get mad. We need you to get somewhere and sit down and look at yourself because you ain't assessing yourself. And I'm like, it's me. Yeah, it's you. No, it can't be me. It's you. Get over there and do this, and then come back and do this. When I really did the work and started looking at me and did some introspection, and of course I work with Archangel Cassiel. He was able to bring a lot of awareness in, very good for introspection and shadow work. So I did that, and we did some healing work. A lot of purging went on, a lot of crying went on. Then I went back to give myself a reading. Everything changed. I moved some stuff out. I said, "Oh my God, it's so much better." They said, "Yeah, we know it's so much better because you had so much stuff you wasn't ready to look at that." So yeah, you had some stuff going on. Okay? You had to readjust yourself, recalibrate. You needed to be recalibrated. And you hadn't did that. Okay? We need to get you back on journaling. Tough every day. Because I had slacked off my journaling. They said get back on that every day. Don't stop. Because that's how you stay clear. You need to stay clear about journaling. Stay clear, Clay, stay clear. You need to be journaling. And so that's how they had me. Now when I go do a read now, it knocks my sock off. I said, that's all I had to do. Yes, that's all you had to do. Don't be walking around here with nothing like ain't nothing wrong with you when you're on the inside, you're in pain. You're in pain. You were in pain and you were denying yourself the attention that you need. Important than what's going on inside of you. Did I like that? No. Because again, especially with us, we've suffered so many intergenerational trauma. We don't look at like to look at our inner wounds. We think ain't nothing wrong with you, with us. Ain't nowhere in the world you in top tip shape if they did that to your ancestors for hundreds of years and the stuff they keep doing to you right now. They got you hostage over there now. They economically abusing you. And you think that your mind and all that, you don't feel nothing about that. Some of us are in a rage. We're upset about that, rightfully so. But how are we dealing with it? How are we channeling it? It still has to be dealt with. Okay, I have to deal with the same thing. Had to leave leave my country because it's unsafe. Because them people over there crazy. They make everybody sick. They make everybody mentally sick. I don't want to be in there. Everybody, I don't want. Feel like a heavy cloud over that place. It's just I don't want to be in there. Did that make me mad? Yes, I'm very absolutely upset about that. But most importantly, I have to keep myself safe in mind, body, and spirit. That's important to me. And I understand that our ancestors had to get out of a sometimes they had to remove themselves from unsafe environments. Okay? So I had to do the work. Don't work. And then when I did that, things started moving. Just simple stuff like that. You know, just simple stuff like that. And sometimes the ego would trick you because it doesn't want to change. It want to keep on doing crazy stuff. You're going to see that too. When you get serious about your practice, you think it's going to be other people that's stopping you. When you get to a point where you can do the work, you're going to look, your ego, you will start to self-sabotage. You'll start getting lazy, you'll start getting sleepy, you'll start procrastinating. These are all the things, and that's when you need to amp up your cleansing. Okay? Remember, magic is alive. It responds to your energy, your focus, your clarity. Yes, even your emotional weather. Okay? Even your emotions, this count. You can't go into no spell, no ritual, sad, you going in there, it just you ain't got no energy. How it's gonna move? I'd rather you go in there. You need to go in there with something, some tenacity. At least go in there mad where you know you gonna shift that stuff out. You need to go in there again. How you go into the ritual matters because your emotions is exactly what they're doing. Is moving stuff in motion. We need that to move. A spell that doesn't work is rarely a dead spell. It's usually a misaligned one. This is all about alignment. Again, we're getting these energies to work with us. The energy is all already available. It's about our intentions and how we're directing it. And if we're in alignment with it, again, it's going to shift things in our favor. This is about transforming and change. You can have all the right herbs, the crystals, the colors, the moon phases, but if you don't actually vibe with them, the magic slows down. Tools amplify the intentions, but only when you feel something for them. You have to be connected with what you're doing, understand what you're doing. That's just like a lot of people tell you to do, say a whole bunch of Psalms, but if you don't know what that Psalms mean, you can repeat it as many times you want to. That's why I don't recommend anyone interpret the scripture for you. We've already had that happen and it didn't turn out good for us. Let You need to get somewhere by yourself and figure that out on your own. This scripture needs to resonate with you. You need to be able to feel it to move the work. Okay? Moon phases, planetary hours, seasonal tides, these can absolutely enhance your spell, but they don't control your magic. If the timing was off, that might weaken your results, but it won't destroy them. Okay, so timing is very important uh when you're trying to be do your work and being specific. Don't try to do a whole bunch of work in one petition because you're not going to see any results from that. I see people trying to do that. You're going to have to again uh make a decision what day and time you're going to do different sorts of magic, or what spirit or ancestor that you're going to work with to help you uh, get results in the magic. You can get as precise as possible with this. This is going to ensure better results. We don't just go do something because I seen Sister Mary do that. I'm gonna go do what Sister Mary did because her ancestors showed her how to do it. Then I'm gonna do what Sister Mary did. No, I don't do that. I go talk to my ancestors and I go look at rituals because you'll be exposed to many sort of workings and many sort of rituals. Some of them you'll do specifically like they are guiding you to. Some of them your ancestors or your inner knowing be like, okay, I like this part, but I'm gonna tweak it right here. That's perfectly fine. It's about again finding your own magic, your own the way it works for you. This is not a one size fit all. You definitely can get more specific with it when you get a breakdown of your chart. It becomes unique. Your magic becomes more unique once you see what's in that chart and what herbs and things you should be working with. Okay. A lot of spells get stuck because the practitioner is worrying about them. If you cling too tightly to your magic, it doesn't have space to move. You basically tied it, to your ankle. You're not letting it move. Let it happen. Your ancestors help you with it. You've done the work. That's the end of that. It's gonna happen. Okay. This is, I wrestled with this as well, but I found a way around that works for me. And I'll tell you more about that in our community. Sometimes the problem isn't the spell, it's the buildup around you. Again, we're talking about old emotions, attachments. How often are you bathing? How often, not just you're bathing, but how much stuff have you purged? How many incidents that's happened that you have not had a time to process those heavy emotions? We have to be not just clean on the outside. This is a cleansing on the inside that needs to happen. They got you. It ain't gonna do you no good to clean your body and all that stuff in your mind and stuff still got garbage and your feelings is all got gump and stuff on it. It ain't gonna do you no good if you're not doing the internal shift. This is true alchemy. The water is gonna do what it's supposed to be doing, all those elements you programming, but it ain't gonna help if you ain't programmed your own self in there inside of you to do the mental and emotional shifts. Does this make sense? I know nobody didn't tell you that, and I do apologize. I get on my soapbox about it all the time. I come here and I be like, why you telling them that? Tell them the whole thing. Don't tell them no half stuff. Stop hijacking them like that. I'm going to tell you. I'm a Sagittarius. I can't lie. It may not come out pretty, but I ain't gonna lie. Okay, I can't do it. Ancestors won't let me do it. I can't give you stuff that make you feel good. I gotta tell you the truth. Okay, because I want you to do better. I want you to get results. I don't want you to walk away from here talking about this stuff doesn't work or this stuff evil. Okay, because I know how it will fix your life. It'll heal your life when you know what you're doing. But if you don't know what you're doing, then you'll be confused about it. Okay. Magic drains energy not in a scary way, but just like exercise does. If you cast too often without grounding, you feel foggy. I heard some practitioners up there say, as soon as one spell works, you need to cast another spell. Keep casting. No, that's not what you do. If you've ever did a magic ritual and you had to call some helpers and work through a whole magical ritual, putting things together, praying over the, you're doing it right and you're having to be focused because that's what magic is. You're focused on your intentions the whole way through a ritual and a magic thing. It wears you out because you're using mental focus. You focus on the outcome and the results, and you're trying to keep your emotions in a stable way where you can move your word. That takes energy. Yeah, I did some work around here where I be tired, like, oh my God, I feel like I just ran a mile. I have to lay down and go to sleep. You'll do that in healing too. When you're doing healing, that's why I tell people when you're doing healing the shadow work, take naps because you're recalibrating and you're purging a lot of old energy. So if you're doing any shadow work and you're crying and purging, take naps. You're trying to restore your energy. The body is healing. It has to restore itself. Yeah, what they call is a lazy matter. That's the more you can rest, the better off you're gonna be. I'm gonna tell you that. The more you practice doing nothing, the more you're gonna put your nervous system in a homeostasis state. That's what we need to happen. Because some of our nervous system is jacked up. They got us anxiety. We worry all the time. We every time you turn around, there's something to do. They calling our name. The people at the work crazy. You got to worry about your job. People coming out on you in the bed. Oh hell yeah, they messing with your energy. Now, the more time you spend by yourself and the less things that you can do, the better off you're gonna be. Your body needs to go into a homeostasis safe. It needs to feel safe. Your nervous system has to feel safe. Okay, that's gonna play a big role in getting your stuff to move. You already got your ancestors on your side. You already working with these energies that's again protecting you, guiding you. You are safe. And so we got to get our mind the feeling like that too, because sometimes we don't feel safe. And not your fault. Not saying it's your fault. And I'm not saying it ain't hard. It is hard knowing that, the regular stuff we see in this world trying to make ourselves feel safe, trying to regulate ourselves. I'm not gonna say, I'm gonna tell you too, you probably gonna be drinking a whole bunch of teas, chamomile tea, blue lotus tea. You're gonna be drinking a lot of teas to get your nervous system stuff together. That's when your root work gonna really come in. When you're trying to get your nervous system together, you're gonna really be sipping some teas and taking some herbs trying to get your nervous system together. I do it. I'm regular. I'm a regular tea. I'm always drinking some sort of tea, some that works on my nervous system. I'm a big fan of chamomile tea. I love lavender, safflower tea. So again, just regulate my emotions, constantly drinking teas. Okay. So that's when your root work and all that stuff, that self care is going to come in handy. You're going to really start understanding spiritual baths and things like that. But you are the engine in your magic, and you have to be working properly, operating properly for it to work properly. And it is not hard, but you have to be willing to make the adjustments in yourself. And this is the part where some people struggle with, because some people like being raggedy, some people like being petty and messy. They live for drama and all that stuff. But if it when you're doing that, you're constantly crossing yourself up and you're not going to get any good results in your work, because you're dabbling with energies. You're dabbling with that energy. You're giving it permission to cross yourself. You're doing it to yourself. So when you say you want to practice this, you better know that your words, your behaviors, and actions contribute to the results in your work. You can't go out here and just be doing raggedy stuff, and then you want to go do some fantastic magic, but you've been out here raggedy. How you think it's gonna work for you? You jealous of Sandy Sue and what they got, and you've been talking down on them, but now you want to go do a spell to get the same thing they got after you to put because you jealous. And you ain't ask yourself, why am I jealous? They ain't better than me. I mean, we got the same thing. I have the capabilities. What can I do to change my life where I can experience, instead of looking at it from that position? uh, Again, sometimes people cross themselves up. Okay. So again, when you have did that spell or your work, get somewhere and lay down. Now it's just uh, regroup and think about, it's already done. Go about your business like it's already done. Praise, have joy like it's already been done. Okay, but like I have my own technique. If you're a warrior, and I know that's a problem with a lot of us. That was definitely my problem. I've learned a workaround for that helps with that. Okay, keep your intentions clear. Okay, one of the most significant reasons for your spells fail: unclear and poorly defined intentions. Know what you want. Okay, know what you want. It doesn't matter when it's going to happen, but you need to know what you want. When you're doing the work, what time are you doing the spells? Is the energy there for to do the work? Are you doing it at the right time on the right day? When are you doing the work? That matters. Lack of energy. How you going into the work? Are you going in big, and are you going in with victory? Are you going in knowing something gonna shift? How you enter into ritual space and your magic matters. It's all energy. It's all energy. You wouldn't want to go to a concert and ain't everybody up in there sleeping all that, but you at a Chris Brown concert and everybody asleep. If Chris Brown got up there, he wasn't dancing or nothing with his stuff. You wouldn't like that energy. He's not giving you much energy. He goes out there again, dancing, singing, again, keeping that vibe high so everybody can enjoy it. It's all about energy. The same thing should be considered when you're doing your work. Okay, when you're doing any sort of ritual, how you going in there. Okay, that matters. Distractions. Do you have any distractions going around? Are you able to sit there and focus on the work that you're doing, or is the phone chiming off, people knocking at the door, the baby hollering, the crying, the children running wild? Are you really focused on the work? What space do you have for the work? How many people in that space are you trying to do the work? That matters. Impatient. Magic, hoodoo especially, it is work. So don't think that it's gonna happen tomorrow. So no, it don't work like that. That very rare does it work like that. It may take a few, because it's about unfoldment. The way when you see it happen, it's your magic worker in the way it unfold, but it's not gonna happen like you say it's gonna happen tomorrow or the next minute. No, it's a series of unfoldment that happens with this. Give it time, give it patience, knowing that it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, and when it happens, you know it's gonna be the work you have done, because the way the results you get are gonna knock your socks off. I'm further back in the video, but yeah, sad gang. Laugh a lot. I might say it a little harsh, but it's the truth. Yep. Okay. And too, uh, we've had enough people. I think, too, we've got used to, and I think it's just the way things are. We like surface level fluff stuff, and magic runs deep. And so when I see people here showing you surface level fluff stuff, I know you being hijacked. And some of you love surface level fluff stuff. And that is what gets you messed up. You don't want the truth. Some of you don't want it. There's still some of that Christian programming stuff that's going on there too. Some of you don't want hoodoo if it don't look Christian. But then you're gonna mess yourself up. Okay, because soon as you go into spiritual warfare, you're gonna run back to Christianity. Ain't nobody told you, once you become aware of these different energies, that you're gonna go into spiritual warfare. It's undeniable. It's gonna happen. Okay? Because you're conscious now. And them other lower energies that live in that 3D reality, they got 3D reality, they got control of people's minds, are not gonna like that. So they're gonna be attacking you through people. Okay? All kinds of stuff might happen. I'm not gonna tell you it ain't gonna happen. I would be worried if you wasn't going into spiritual warfare, because that means you ain't no threat. You still with the shenanigans. But if you're a true threat to them and you won't, yeah, you're gonna go into spiritual war. That's gonna make them mad, because you ain't with the hijacking. You ain't with the shenanigans anymore. Okay, you're not a threat to anyone. Nobody's worried about you. Okay, so if you see yourself up under there, you making some progress. There ain't nothing to be afraid of, because you know the spiritual protection. You know to lay your how to lay things down in your house, in your home, to protect you. You know how to move. You know how these spirits move in people. Okay, there's nothing to be afraid of once you know what you're looking at. But a lot of people are not prepared for spiritual warfare, but want to do something spiritual. I just, and and I tell you too, the deeper that the more I work with spirits, because we laugh and talk about the craziest things. I think the funniest thing to me is when I tell the ancestors about, well, they say, they're a priest or whatever, and they doing this and that. So I figure they know what they talking about. Ancestors tell me, we don't care what them people call themselves. They're not that to us. We don't care what these folks calling themselves pastors and all this stuff. We don't look at them like that over there. These people got low ranking over there. They buying titles to get recognition in the physical realm. But no, that doesn't cross over to here. We don't even look at them folks like that. They really, some of them people are the most spiritually ignorant people. It is. So no, they don't have that over there. The people that that's really doing the work, that's heavy into the work, the most peculiar people, those are the people that get the high ranking over there. Not these people that's called, around here calling themselves priestess and priests. That even some of the initiates. Now this is what the spirits told me. I just started laughing, and they started laughing. They said, we don't care what they call themselves. They ain't that. So what? Yeah. Okay. So we had, and that offends some people, but it's funny to hear them say that. And I've read that, I think I saw it in one of our resources. One author had said the same thing. I said, oh my God, that's exactly what the ancestor said. to me. Okay, so don't get it twisted. I'm telling you. A lot of people don't like this part, but they have a funny sense of humor as well. Okay, when you really get to know spirit and stop listening to people. Okay, I want you to know the truth. I want you to see it for yourself. I get, I get rewarded with seeing the look on your face once you do the work. That's what that's where I get joy out of, because I want you to see it for yourself. So I'm gonna keep putting power back in your hand every time you think you finna, look at me or go follow so and so or go. If you think you finna go do anything but try to develop a relationship with your ancestors and yourself, no. Do not pass go. Go right back to them ancestors. Go right back to you. Nobody is more powerful than you. No, 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 no. We're not gonna get that started. That's gonna confuse you. That's all that's gonna do. And you ain't gonna do nothing with the information. Some of us, we don't do anything but the information and apply it properly. Sometimes we use the information to cross ourselves up even more to avoid the work. You got people doing that too. They want information so they can go past and not fix what they got going on. Reading from reading reading from Raw Newport and Hero by Will Protect You From. I don't know what that is. I don't know what you're saying there. I don't know what that is. See? I don't even know what that is. You can put that in the chat. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. I know one thing. If you do your work like you're supposed to do, if you're doing what you're supposed to do, you will see results. That's what I know. Okay? That's what I know. You will stay protected. You will be guided. And the main thing is trusting your inner knowing and not nobody else. Success in hoodoo comes through patience, consistency, and work rather than dramatic gestures or quick fixes. That's where you're gonna see the biggest improvements. Start simple, begin with basic protection, cleansing work before moving to more complex spells. Keep it simple. Okay. And that's one thing, I recommend over there. Even when you get your chart, it's going to, I break that down for you. Keep it simple. Document things, build slowly. It's not a rush. You make a lot of progress by slowing down and going fast. Stop looking at everybody else and what they doing. That's gonna mess you up. Look at what you're gonna make more progress if you stay focused on you. When you're trying to look at everybody else and do comparison and stuff like that, that ain't gonna help you. I know it sounds like, but that don't make sense. Yes, it does. It's when you focused on you and your little world, you're creating your own universe, your own world. This is for you. When you focus on you and take your time, you make more improvements. This is not a race. This is about alignment and getting results. The more you can do that, the better off you're going to be. I know what you're seeing here. You need to be following Miss, so and so and seeing what they saying and so and see what they're saying. No, because it's preventing you from actually having it. You're not doing the work. You're consuming information and you're not actualizing it. You need to be living it. Ain't gonna do you no good if you're not living it. You're not applying it. That's not helping you. You don't need to consume more information. You need to digest the information, embody the information, and live it. Ain't gonna do you no good by learning it and you ain't applying it. You ain't gonna get no results that way. The more you slow down and start integrating this, the better off you're gonna be. Okay? You're gonna have to look at it that way. You got to make time. You have to make time. There's no, there's no, you got to make time. Yes, do got time. You got time to this stuff on social media. You got time for all this other stuff. Just say you don't want to make time and you want the spirit to hand you something for nothing. That's what you want. You basically that's what you're saying. Because if you telling yourself you ain't got no time, but I'm sitting up, you sitting up here spending your time wasting and leaking your energy in other spaces, and it can be used to build your practice and improve and grow yourself. I mean, what are you doing? Okay, I have to make time too. I have to get off. Hey, get off social media. A few days or a few hours and focus on my energy. Sit in my energy. I have to do the same thing too. Okay. So if you're tired of guessing, if you're tired of doing work and not seeing the results, and you ready to get serious about your practice, you ready to know everything, the workings of hoodoo, so you can live it and it'll be a way of life and you can get results every time you pick it up. I recommend that you get over there in our community. Okay. If we're going even deeper now, our first meeting is within a week. And so I'm going to be sharing, inside information there that I won't be sharing here. I've shared a lot of information here on this channel and on this platform with you guys, to really give you some great insights into how hoodoo works and what hoodoo consists of. I think the next step, would be for you to see how you can integrate it. And so here, we're going to be really talking about how we're integrating, how things are going for people, just doing wellness check-ins and seeing uh, the support others need in our community. But I tell you, if you're ready to do the work, you're tired of guessing, you're tired of fishing here and there, you don't know anything about it, you're getting bits and parts from other places, and you don't really understand the practice. Get in our community. We have uh, so many resources from beginning to advance to help you in your practice, help you grow, help you learn. We also have a healing circle where we we focus on doing the healing because some people they're new and they don't know anything, and uh, they're not familiar with the healing part. So we'd also have a healing circle too to help you do some processing, looking at the intergenerational trauma, the pathology of your ancestors, and helping you do work around that. That's been helpful for a lot of people in our community, things that they didn't even realize they had in their family. They're working on some things and they're seeing improvements in their work. I don't want that. What's that mean? Katu, face green smiling, face green smiling, face green smiling. Is that a? Did you put an emoji in there? Is that what I'm seeing in there? Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So if you're interested in learning hoodoo, get over there in our community. The first thing I recommend when you get over there, uh, just to make it easy for you, go ahead and get your chart broken down, so you'll have something to hold on to and you'll know where you need to be. It's your syllabus about your spiritual growth and development. That's basically what your natal chart is. It becomes your syllabus, what you need to stay in guidelines, how to keep your energy aligned. So I do recommend that you get your chart when you first get over there. Now is the best time to get over there because I'm closing everything down and I'm meeting with everybody once a month, engaging, asking questions. You ask anything you want to know. We're going to cover it, talk about it right there. If there's any books that you're interested in, we'll also be opening books over there. Looking through books. If you say, "Hey, Miss Penny, I looked this book and this happened right here. I was studying this. Can we look at this real quick?" Then I'll pull it up and answer questions that way as well, and we'll go over it. So we really get a chance to go hands on with you, mentor you, and you just have an open platform for the community and all us grow, learn, and develop. So if that's something that you're interested in and you're tired of, not knowing if it's going to work or not, or you don't understand how to work with spirits, you want to understand how to work with your ancestors, better and develop rituals and a better relationship with them, get over there in our community because we do cover it all. Okay. All right. I hope this helped you understand why your work is not working and the work that you need to do to get it to working. Okay. All right, you guys. Does anyone have any questions here? Any questions you want to ask me? Any questions you want to ask me? Because I covered a lot. I have talked about a lot on here. Any questions? Any questions about anything? I'm here to answer them. Okay. Okay. Any questions? Don't be shy. No question is a dumb question. No question is a stupid question. I know people have told you a lot of things up here, and so I'm sure you might have some questions because I the things that I see over here, I see somebody on here telling people they don't need to sit in the spiritual bath and take a spiritual bath. I said, "What? Oh my gosh, why what are you getting out of this, beloved? What are you getting out of telling people this? What that's not a one size fit all. At some point you might have to sit in some water. You might have to sit in water. Some point in times you might have to dump water over you for a cleansing, but it's okay to sit in the spiritual bath. And if that's what your ancestors told you to do, that's what you do. Okay. I'm just like I'm seeing a lot of stuff being made up here. Then I see somebody trying to make Christian. You might have some ancestors that may have been Christian, depending on who you're working with. Now, if you got ancestors that they were pretty good ancestors and they were pretty healthy and they were good to you. Now you might have some ancestors they want you to put the Bible up there. You may not particularly like the Bible, but they want the Bible up there. They like the Bible and they want that Bible up there. Now you got some ancestors like that. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay, so you might have depending on the ancestors that you're working with, and then you have some people to say, "Hey, I absolutely do not. I don't want to use the Bible. I'm tired of people. That's why I don't want to work hoodoo because people is keep telling me that I need to. It ain't no hoodoo if you can't do it without the Bible." You hear people say that all the time. I just it's like a recorder. Misinformation spreads so fast, and real information it never gets picked up. People don't want the real truth. Misinformation and lies are popular, and so it's just not true. Okay. What's the proper way to take a spiritual bath, lose your shower of mind? What feels good for you? I know I have a shower, and this is just for me. I like putting my water in a basin because I have a shower. I like putting my water in the basin. Uh, I like boiling my herbs in a tea format, like where I strain the herbs and stuff out of it. And, I like doing it that way. And then I like using essential oils in the water as well. And then I pray into my water because water can be programmed. And so, we've already known that they say that the water has memory. It responds to our speech and it responds to sound. So I like praying over my water and I like pouring it over me. That works for me. But even when I'm taking a shower, it's just a little ritual that I do. I instantly start thanking the water that's coming out. I start thanking the four elements for my shower as I take a shower. It's just a thing for me and start imagining all that gooky and goo coming off of me. That's just a thing I just ritually do. It's my ritual. Okay. Cat the Taurus. I have to say this. Everyone is not welcome to hoodoo. Hoodoo is a closed practice because of our ancestors, because of the ancestral magic and what happened to our ancestors. It is closed. Okay, I don't care how much money you got. It's not about the money. It's just closed. Okay, it is closed. So if you're not a person of color, you didn't have any ancestors uh that suffered that diaspora, what happened to us, then this probably you probably want to rethink that. For inner cleansing, what do you recommend? Journaling. I recommend if there's inner cleansing that needs to be going on, there needs to be some shadow work along with journaling. Shadow work needs to happen. And I don't recommend doing shadow work by yourself because when we go to sharing our stories or testimony or testifying or therapy, because that therapy is sort of like that, we get a chance to release a lot of that baggage, emotional energy. Because those spirits, if you're not careful, they'll keep you in shame. And the thing is to release you from shame and judgment. Is tell somebody what's going on with you because shame got to release you. I went through that too. I was so scared to it was the things that happened to me, and the spirit of shame was like, no, they're gonna be saying this about you. They're gonna be judging you. They're gonna be. But I wanted to be free so bad. I said, I don't give a damn what them people think. They need to feel bad about themselves because I'm trying to heal myself. I'm trying to better myself. I don't care what they think. This happened to me, and I'm gonna free myself. And I don't care what people think. My goal is to get free and get well. And baby, them spirits don't like that because they into extortion and blackmail. That's what you seeing that's going on now. With that Epstein stuff. What was they using? Shame and guilt to extort those people. That's how these spirits work. Okay, so make sure that you doing it with a therapist and you testifying testimony so those things won't oppressive spirits won't have you bound like that. Okay. That's cool. I think I need to get more intentional in the way I'm speaking. Do I need to speak out loud? Speak out loud. Yes, it's sound. Your voice carries sounds. It has a frequency. It has a fingerprint. You need to be talking out loud. Get out of your head. Are you a Virgo or Gemini? That's why I asked you that. You a Virgo or Gemini? Get out your head. Open your mouth. That's where your power is. Your power's in your tongue. Okay, you're welcome. But do the work, you guys. I am. I don't think look like it. I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. I am. Okay. So you said I am, I just don't look like it. And I don't want to make anyone comfortable. But if you know that uh that you have ancestors that's in the tradition. I saw that you see that a lot in Louisiana. I seen a hoodoo practitioner talking about how she practiced hoodoo, but she did not look like me and you. She was passing, and she talked about how people, get on to her, and she have to tell them, look, I may not look like it, but I'm that. Okay, I have these ancestors in my family, and then we go back generations. So that here, this is my family. So you see that that's very common in some areas because you know what happened to our ancestors. A lot of them, uh, these colonizers forced themselves onto them. Some of them intermarried. I understand and I get it. But yeah, if you definitely in there, you're welcome. Cancer, you're a Cancer. Okay. I wonder what type of placements you have. Well, you should work good with water if you're a Cancer. I would think that you will work well with the element of water. I would say you probably want to explore that a little bit more because you should work well with water. A Cancer, I mean, because you're a water sign. But I'm just going by just the sign. I don't know where your placements and everything are in your chart. But do what you again, Queen Afua and Baba Haru. Are you familiar? Yeah, I'm familiar with Queen Afua. When I first uh started studying this, I read her book, Sacred Woman. Now that is a good book, because she talks about Mayat. Queen Afua is really big in Mayat, and you will see that too. I think with any of our spiritual practice, and I don't think they talk about this enough in Ifa, that there is a form of Mayat, of law, that we do follow, and you will see that in shadow work because it's going to start lining you up with all these universal energies. Okay, and you're going to see that uh good character and things like that, all that works together. And of course she talks about getting your body together, aligning your body, and with nutritious meals, healthy meals and things like that. But she also too talks about interfacing with a lot of the comedic pathanons and comedic energies, the Netaru. So she talks about the Netaru as well. But yeah, I like her work. I like what she does. Okay. And even when you start to look at hoodoo, I think me and another person was looking at it. We were looking at Heka, because Heka is the folk magic uh, of ancient Egypt, of ancient Kemet. So when you look at Heka, you start looking at Heka. Heka look like hoodoo. So we talk about Heka in there too. We cover our ancestors. We look at our ancestors. We don't look at one thing. Okay, and I think that too limits people uh a spiritual understanding and their growth when you're just looking at one thing. But in order to look at Solomonic magic and looking at these, where they all getting their stuff from, whether they want it, they're getting it from Egypt. So let's just knock it off. Let's knock it off. See, I'm gonna decolonize all that for you so we can just stop the shenanigans. Okay. We already know Moses went to Egypt and he trained with those priests and priests. Where you think he learned how to be a conjure man from? He learned it from the Egyptian. Let's knock it off. Stop it with the shenanigans and the hijacking. So we cover up, I leave no I try not to leave any stone unturned for you. Anything that you want to know is there for you to know. Anything you want me to discuss over there, I discuss it. So you're going to really feed your mind and your spirit over there. Whenever I try to cleanse, following heal thyself principles, demons come out to stop me. How is that stopping you? Cancer Sun, Sag Moon. Go on, Sag Moon. Gemini rising. Look at that, Gemini rising. Didn't I say Gemini? I said, is it Gemini or something? Because that Gemini confusing you. Stop overthinking it. Open your mouth and say what you want. You probably need to start talking to your spirits more and get out of your head. Get out of your head and start. They communicate with you through your thoughts and showing you images. You communicate with them through your mouth, your portal in your mouth. They communicate to you through your mind and your emotions because they don't have a portal for a mouth. Their consciousness now. Okay. We break that all down in our, break that all down if you need a better understanding of it. I would love a native reading. How do I do that? Let me put my I thought it was on my what's the name? Let me put my email address here. Okay, I put in the chat. I don't know if it's gonna let you grab it. If you're on TikTok, you can DM me. Yeah, get out your head. I was doing the same thing though. I was doing the same thing. But Archangel Raziel has been teaching me how to communicate with them. Love that Archangel. But when you're communicating with them, you need to be saying it and writing down petitions. That's your way to communicate with them. You can write your sigils, your seals. People get more specific with it, but you need to be talking and writing things down. And then you need to sit there and listen. See what's going on in your mind. After you done did what you did, see what comes up in your mind. Sometimes we miss it because we think spirit communication is going to be like paranormal, it's going to be like Hollywood. No, it's not. It's going to be very subtle. It is easy to miss if you're not paying attention to your mind and emotions and what's going on in your body. That's why it takes so much work. You have to be clean on the inside, not just the outside, but the inside too, to pick up these messages. Because if you got heavy emotions going on, you distraught, or you worried about something, you can be missing subtle messages because your mind is just not open to communication. Okay, that's why doing meditation and sitting at your altar, being quiet, is very important. Okay. However, divine mother, I said protects me. I don't know what's going on in this chat where Ra is real love. You know, if you're doing you said these demons come in you or whatever. The demons come from you. So my thing is, what are you doing to level you up and grow yourself? What are you doing to integrate those darker aspects of yourself? There's a lot of people. We just covered demons. You think these demons outside of you? Why do you think they have psychologists to go in and examine criminals that do things? And a lot of these criminals say they got demons inside of them. Why do you think they send psychologists in there? You're welcome. They come after you. What do you mean they come after you? What kind of lifestyle are you living? What are you doing? What are you doing? I got to ask you that, Roswell. What you doing? Why they after you by way of friends and family? So it's time you get off that frequency. Got just by saying that, poor boundaries. Somebody need to be cut off. It's time for you to cut some people off. Time for you to you don't have to do that. I had to learn that too. All family and friends can't go to the same frequency with me. All them, all family ain't really family. They'll trip you out too. All family are not ancestors. Sometimes your lesson is to cut them out. It's a hard lesson. It hurts like hell. It hurts like hell. But when you really start doing the work, yeah, it's probably time for you to level up. Probably time for you to cut some people off. It's probably time for you to stop entertaining them. I'm working on a juice cleanse now. Them demons and them parasites in your body. Yep. So again, it goes to you're gonna see anything that's on the inside of you, especially when you really start doing the work. And I'm glad you mentioned that. You said, "Oh, through my families and friends." And when I start seeing that, that's hard to see. I had to cut off. It's family that I had to cut off because they were not healthy because they have agreed to work in tandem with these things, and I'm not going to jeopardize my energy that way. I'm not giving you access to me that way. I do apologize. Please forgive me. I'm so sorry that I made you feel like that I'm going to keep feeding that parasite, but I'm not. Actually, this is the requirement in order to engage with me. And if you're not, you're going to constantly uh keep on trying to attack me in some sort of way, then I can't engage with you because that's not how I want to be loved. That's not, I know that's the way you want to love me. I'm so sorry, but I don't want that. I don't want that for myself. That's not how I want to be loved. That's not love to me. And I'm sorry you don't know how to love me. I'm so sorry. But if that's your love, I don't want it. I'm so sorry. I I'm sorry. I love you, but you're just not healthy for me. And I know you're doing the best you can. That's your love. That's your love. I'm just kindly, you know, asking you, I don't want that. I'm so sorry. This is, and if you can't love me the way, that's not my love language. You can't love me like that. I respect that. I know that could be hard for you because that's all you know. But I'm telling you, that's not, I don't want that. Okay. I live a good lifestyle. My family turned out to be the biggest enemies. Me too, Miss Penny. Black sheeps is a real thing. It is. Okay. I love, not to say that I don't love them. I love them. And I understand you wouldn't know how to love. I used to be upset about it, but let's be real. Them people have been taught. We have been taught not to love ourselves for hundreds of years. Other people hate us for no reason. Is it really a surprise to you that your family don't know how to love you? Is that a surprise to you? I had to be real with myself. And I cried like a baby. They don't love me. Oh my God. My mama didn't love me. Oh my God. My sisters don't love me. They hate me. Why wouldn't they? We've lived 400 or 500 years of them programming us on how to hate ourselves. So why would I think that my whole family and my mother and all of them would know how to love when the only thing that they have been exposed to is not to love themselves? So why would I think that they can love me adequately? That's not fair to them. How did they get like that? They said with a whole generation of raggedy people that didn't love themselves, convinced them that our ancestors was unlovable, ugly monkeys, and all this stuff. And you don't think that impacted them? So give them a little bit of a break too. That's all they know. They thought beating you and all that stuff was love because somebody did that to them, and they went in there and beat the hell out of us. Some of them, jack you up real quick, hit you in your mouth, slap you down. They didn't play with you. See, y'all young generation, y'all got it good. But when I was growing up, it was normal to get hit in the mouth in front of everybody. It was a norm to get a beat down right there in front of and you better not say nothing. You better act like you like it. Say something else. I said, y'all ain't ready for that. Yeah. Some of y'all got some gentle parenting. I used to tell my kids, y'all got a different grandma because the mama that raised me, that 5 foot woman lay you on your back, throw you on your back with one hand. Don't let the looks fool you because that woman wasn't no play pretty. But how did she get like that? Because of the environment that she lived in. Some of them had to be tough. Some of them could not own their emotions. They couldn't say they was hurt. We have the opportunity to do that now. When I got away from my mother, things actually got better for me, and I knew I was on the right path. Same thing with me. Yeah, they cursed. That's what they was brought up in. That some of it was sick. Ain't they fault? I'm learning to forgive them each and every day. The more I understand of why they was like that. Why wouldn't they be like that? I want them to be I want them to be like Leave It to Beaver Mama. You know. I wanted it to be like Little House on the Prairie type of stuff. How come I had that couldn't see that on TV? This is what I'm seeing on TV. How come I can't have no mama like that? Well, that your mama wasn't them your folks wasn't in the environment like that. That's not your actual reality now, is it? Them people was dealing with poverty, racism, and all that stuff, and you actually think that they were supposed to be love you the right way. And they didn't grow up in that environment. How they supposed to do that? If they don't know no better, how they gonna do better? No, not your elevated family members. That's why I don't recommend. This is the stuff that get people crossed up because they'll go up in there and I don't blame them for it because it's the way it's been explained. So don't think I'm attacking any of you. It's just some things that it's not being properly disclosed to a lot of us. But you see, a lot of us will go. I made that mistake too of putting family members on my altar when I first started up. I'm gonna talk about myself. I'm gonna talk about anybody because I made the mistake too. I put family members up there on my altar, and I was trying to find out how to heal my family. I was so confused. I didn't know what's going on. And then when I had my breakthrough of what was really going on, that's when my elevated ancestor said, take them off. I had to take off family members off that altar that had just passed. I had to take them off. I had to recalibrate my altar. And that's when things got clear. I started placing boundaries with family. A lot of that stuff was, was psychosomatic. It was coming out in my body. Once I start placing boundaries with family and recalibrate that altar to only elevated family members, you don't have to know their name. That's not important. Important is that you're coming in contact with healthy, elevated ancestors. Okay. Once I start doing that and doing the healing, a lot of things cleared up. Okay. And those elevated ancestors, they had to let me know, look, you mad at them because I was so mad at them. You're gonna be mad at your mom. Yeah, it is right. Some of them abused us and did all sorts of raggedy things to us. I understand that they have. I'm not giving them a pass. But what I'm saying here, why wouldn't they do it? Look what happened to them folks. Folks eating them and all this sort of stuff, and you actually think that they're gonna be perfect parents? Do you actually think that all that stuff? You don't think that they psychotic stuff happened to them? Did you think that their mind and everything gonna be in right intact, trying to survive something like that? No. So yeah, we can be upset with them, but we can't forget the fact what happened to them, what landed them to be crazy like that. Okay, and you start looking at yourself, you got some of the crazy too. Some of the crazy got passed on to us too. Okay, probably not a lot of crazy, but we got some crazy because that's what raised us. Crazy raised a lot of us. Okay, I have to deal with it all the time because I'm quick to put somebody, even though, my personality is no nonsense, I still have to deal with the fact real quick. I have to stay calm because I know I come from people that love putting their hands on people. They don't do a lot of talking. They ain't finna do no whole bunch of arguing. Now they're gonna put you down. So I have to constantly deal with myself. Look, Penny, keep it together. How your tolerance is. You get like this. You need to go ahead and walk away because you know how you is. I don't like that about myself. Okay, I don't like that about myself, but I know myself. I know where I come from. That is what I inherited. That's what came on. That's what raised me. Okay, I've made peace with it. That's just the way it is. My tolerance level going back and forth with people, that ain't my thing. Not gonna be going back and forth with you. I don't like people walking up on me. I was just at the market the other day, and this woman kept brushing up on me, and I was getting mad. I was like, "What the girl?" I was about to like, "Look, lady, you done brushed me with your boob 3 times without saying excuse me. Please don't do that again." Don't do, because I know you standing up. Why you want to be brushing up on me like that? That may be normal where y'all is. This is what goes on in my head. That may be normal in your country where you come from, but personal space to me, boy, that's golden to me. And you steady keep brushing up on me, like why? And I felt that heating up in me. I said, she do this one more time, I'm gonna have to check her. Cause look, and then I'm gonna have to keep my cool. I'm gonna have to keep my cool. Okay, but that's I know what's in me. Okay. My mama hit me in the eye with the belt buckle. She also broke a broom on my back and plucked a plug of flesh out of my thigh when I was a teen. See? This is the and more likely this is the stuff that that happened to them. Ain't nowhere in the world because I look at the stuff I took my children through and just the interaction. I said I ain't won't put them through that because I know I had been through stuff, but I didn't know no better because that was that's what I was taught. Okay, I had to reparent myself and then reparent them. Uh, when I got more clarity, more understanding about what was going on with me and that family. Okay, I even had my oldest daughter because I wasn't operating that like that anymore. She was trying to engage me into conflict with her, and I was like, "Hey, look at here. I'm not doing that. That's not what's happening here." It scared her so bad. She said, "I don't know how to deal with you when you heal." Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What you trying to say? You want me? Now you don't want me to put that kind of suit on. So you want me to be raggedy with you. You don't know how to look at me, but just doing raggedy stuff. You want me to be doing raggedy stuff. Now that I'm not getting out of character, I'm staying in control of my whole being. You don't know how to take that. Some people don't know how to take it. Okay, you're gonna see that in your family as well. You're gonna make them uncomfortable because you're not gonna be operating out of that same pathology with them. And see, I don't do the pathology. My cutoff game is strong. My cutoff game sometimes is too strong. And I think it's even stronger because of all the abandonment we have in our family. So that helped me with my cutoff game. My cutoff game is immaculate. I cut you off in a minute. I cut you off like I never met you, like I never knew you. So I had to start using transmuting those wounds in a way that'll work for me. So that helped me gain more boundaries. Okay. I don't hate my family irrespective of how they treated me. No, you can't hate them, and I wanted to hate them because that's what I kept blaming them. I kept blaming them. I think that was the hardest thing uh when I was doing my shadow work. I remember I was at the Arkansas River and I cried so bad. I mean, I cried. I said, "How come I can't forgive them? God, I want to forgive these regular people. I want to forgive these regular people so bad. I do. I do, God. I want to forgive these regular people." I said, "But I just can't do it. What's going on with me?" They said, "Because forgiveness is healing. You need to heal and get to that place. You're not there yet, and that's okay. That's okay. You're still healing. Forgiveness, it's not an overnight thing. It's about healing. You can't forgive anyone if you're not quite healed yet. And that's okay." I was so mad at myself because the way people make you think, "Oh, you just forgive." No, you cannot properly forgive if you have not totally healed. You have to get to a place where you can heal, where you can totally forgive. And for me, it helped when I start understanding like why they like that, why they do crazy stuff. And said, "Well, let me show you. Let us explain this to you. If you've been beat and abused in every way of fashion as possible, unimaginable, and all that stuff for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, how do you think you're gonna turn out?" So wow, I never thought about it like that. Yeah. And this stuff happened to them, and they bought this stuff into their families. They even bought the whoopings in there. That they got whipped and all that stuff with whips, and they bought that right on up in there. They whipped us like they was being whipped. Get whipped with belts, you get whipped with extension cords, and anything they picked up, it was a weapon. Okay, Blue Lotus doesn't that herb increase feminine energy? I know it increased dreams. I don't know about feminine energy, but everything is divine feminine. You're not going to get Ray from it. There's no masculine, divine masculine. Let's just cut that out. That's hijacking. Me too, Miss Penny. And I told a lady at work, "Don't recognize me if you see me." you know, I just cut them off. And especially when I wrote the book, because I wrote a book about my abuse, and everybody in the family. Some people was mad at me. I know my sister was mad, was just like, "How dare you talk about that in the book?" You know, everybody. My thing was is I wanted to expose all that regular stuff so y'all can stop it. You need to see it in the book to see how raggedy we is, because we raggedy over here. I'm not gonna let you. That's the medicine I'm bringing. That book is the medicine. Now you can sit down, because that's what happened. That's my experience in this family. This experience, a lot of y'all in this family went through the same thing I went through. Okay, so if you say that you don't know this family raggedy, you telling a lie. You know you need to be healed. And I made that absolutely clear. Are you gonna get this today? You gonna keep walking around here like this and not knowing what's wrong, what's the matter with us. I done put this thing here in this book. Y'all go look at it. Now a lot of them folks got mad at me about it. But I had one family member say, Penny, I read that book, and me and my mama read that book you wrote about the family. I didn't know my family was reading the book. I said, I got kind of nervous. I said, oh, here we go. Here we go with this. Now I got to start. Y'all know this raggedy. Now I got to go, we're going to go here again. And she said, you know what? When we got to reading that book, and she said, you know what my mama said to me? I said, what did she say? She said, I think Penny is right. I think this family do have, it's narcissistic. Like she said, I don't think she lying. I said, what? So there was some clarity going on there, but was they going, they'll let you know a little bit. I was glad to say, because I was surprised y'all read my book, because y'all said I was crazy. You said I was this, you said I was that, and you're gonna read my stuff. Some of them still follow me now and can't stand me. But that is the thing in the family. It's more of the sickness in the family. It's the spirit of jealousy. It's the spirit, envious spirit being there. Uh, it be jealous is going to be the main thing, because there's no authenticity in there. Then it's some oppressive spirits in there. How dare you? Okay, so you'll see those spirits that have your family hostage, and families can get free if they want to, if they decide to become more self-aware. But some of them don't want to. It's easier for them to say that you're crazy, so they can keep the family dysfunction and sickness going on. And usually the person that they're calling crazy, that's not in the family, that's the most sanest, healest person in the family. Ain't that something? I was the only one going to therapy. Ooh, that made me so mad. I cried with the ancestors. I cried on that. I said, I am the only one going to therapy and really dealing with my mind and get myself together. But yet these folks is calling me crazy, ancestors, and they is crazy. I said, what the hell is going on here? I said, what the hell? They said, baby, because you disrupt the craziness. So it's more easier for them to keep them comfortable and keep them in sickness. It's easier for them to orchestrize you. That's what happened with the black sheep, and call you crazy so they can make them feel comfortable to practice the dysfunction and poison and sickness. You a threat to that. My oldest daughter, let me know that when she was here in Thailand. She said, I ain't never been around you when you been healed. I don't it was uncomfortable for her. Miss Penny, I heard last week the function of the scapegoat is as pressure vavavito regulate the family by absorbing its anxiety, frustration, and shame. That's what it's for. And boy, that's heavy work. Being a black sheep, but you're the strongest. The black sheep is the strongest and shine the light on the bull crap. They don't do that because you're weak. They do that, like the ancestors, because I was crying to the ancestors about that. My spirit guys said, they do me like that. They do me like that. I'd had my self pity party, you guys. No, they do me like that. They said, no, they don't do you like that because you're weak. What the hell is wrong with you? They do that because you're the very strongest motherfucker in the family. You the strongest. They don't do weak people like that. You ain't broke yet, haven't you? You still ain't dancing their music. You still call them out. They don't do you like that because you weak. They do you like that because you're a threat to the whole family, to the whole system. And they really put curses on you when they do you like that. So you have to do a lot of healing work and a lot of cleansing work. You got to make sure your mind is sharp. They don't know the power of what they doing either. But then when you start, you can tell when you're doing the cleansing work. I can tell when it was working because they start declining. They life start getting raggedy. They life start getting raggedy. Once I sent that stuff back to them and said, "Oh no, you don't. Oh no, the hell you don't." When I start sending it back to them, that ain't mine. That's yours. I know my stuff. This your stuff. When I start sending it back, and then with no contact, I start getting blamed of putting spells and stuff on people. I ain't did nothing to you. I prayed for you and I left you alone. I gave you your stuff back. It ain't mine for you to be giving it to me. You deal with that. That's your stuff. Stop giving it to me. That's your stuff. See, when the scapegoat, they ain't covered no more. They're not covered no more. When the black sheep and the scapegoat is gone, they're not covered. They don't got nobody to blame there. So they turn on each other. Their lives start to disintegrate. All types of bad stuff start happening in their life. They can't point it because you ain't deal with them people in years. You ain't talked to them in years. They'll even try to see where you. I even have a sister that try to peep on me and try to see what I got going on. Probably watching my YouTube and videos and stuff now. But I don't have it trips me out because last night I said, why are you so upset? You tell people that I am stalking you and your family, but yet you're doing this to me. It's so crazy, y'all. It's so crazy. I have to stay prayed up because I said, well, am I crazy? Because you sit there and told a family member I was doing this to you, and you're doing it to me, girl. What's the matter with you? And then you know it's weird because I've seen them try to do some of the same things I do, and and I don't like to say that you're jealous of me, but it looks that way. Why are you trying to do everything I do? We different people. My path different from your path. You don't have to be, but again, you'll see these spirits in these families like that. And some of your family are the ops. They are in agreement with these spirits. That's spiritual warfare. It ain't gonna be all pretty. And some of them have agreed to work on their frequency. They don't want no awareness. They're gonna fight you, get mad at you, and everything. When you try to bring light to this, they're gonna get upset with you. That's not what they want. It trips you out when you see it because them spirits be on them people like that. They be on your whole family. And some of the stuff that you're doing too is from a past life with these people that you're trying to again correct in this life. Some of our family unalived us in our past life. And they come here to do the same thing in this life. Yeah, it gets that real. Everybody is not a good ancestor. That's why it's very important that you call on elevated ancestors. They'll keep you protected and they'll let you know the pathology and the sickness that's going on in their family. Some of them wake up, some of them will not because they got to evolve too. They got to get their lesson. They got to work out that family trauma. Your job is not to fix them. Once you, because you're gonna be a hard pill. I was a hard pill to swallow. Then don't none of them like me. Don't none of them. Don't a lot of them like me. I don't play with them. I'm not gonna play with you. Okay, I'm not gonna go into a psychosis with you. You know what's going on here. I'm not gonna let you take advantage of me. That's not happening here. Okay, I'm not going to psychosis with you. I'm not gonna pretend with you. I'm not gonna let you abuse me. Neither am I. I'm gonna abuse you. If I can't do right by you or you can't do right by me, we're gonna get away from each other. You know. And a lot of them, I'm sorry, try to get mad at me But that's why we don't come around you. Wait a minute. I don't come around you. I've never come around you. Why the hell would I care about you not coming around me? I never come around y'all anyway. Then they look stupid then. What the hell? I never like, so how you hurt me by telling me you ain't gonna come around me? I don't come around you. What are you talking about? You look stupid again. I've always, like my mom would say, my estranged daughter. That's what she would call me. My estranged daughter. That's right, because I get the hell up out of there. I don't play no games with y'all. I removed myself, period. I stayed, this started when I'm 15 to 16 years old. I spent a lot of time away from my family. Okay. And I think that's why my cutoff game is so strong. Uh, you know, you'll start looking at some of these wounds that you do have, and that's happened with me. Most of them can be transformed into spiritual uh attributes that's going to help you on your journey. And shadow work definitely helps you transmute that into things that work for you. And that's what really needs to happen. Success leave clues. They following your clues, Miss Penny. It must be. It trips me out. It trips me out. They'll try to do some of the things, and I'm like, this can't be it. Like, why would they be? But it's true. You'll have family members jealous of you, envious of you, and I just didn't get it. To me, it was weird. It always reminded me of single white female. I'm saying, why they y'all doing single white female stuff to me? I mean, I go do this, y'all go do that. Why you doing it? It was very perplexing to me and kind of spooky. And then I would tell other people that it would be up, clear to them. They jealous. I'm like, nah, that can't be it. You know, I'm steady trying to be optimistic. No, can't be it. Girl, anytime I talk to, even my therapist, they was like, hey, look, this is what this is. I'm like, really? You think that's what that is? They was like, that's what that is. That's the behavior. The behavior fits. Okay, now I can't get away from it because I have them. And not all of them are like that. There are some ones that that I get along with, and they know what's going on in the family, and I talk to some of them generally, but most of them no. Okay, and it doesn't help. It doesn't help. I am who I am, born under the sign I'm born of, because again, I'm just a true speaker, and I'm outspoken, and that doesn't really help with things. I'm not atypical. I don't beat around the bush. I'm very direct. I don't want you playing those games with me with my mind. I'm not gonna let you play that with my mind. I'm not gonna let you. I'm not gonna do it with you. Okay. Uh, it doesn't help. And I notice patterns real quick. I pick up on patterns quick. Okay. If I see you doing something and I notice a pattern, I'm gonna call you out on it, and we're gonna talk about it. I'm not gonna pretend like I don't see that. I'm neither am I gonna let you act like you ain't doing this. Okay? And just, you know, and they don't like that either. But if you're a black sheep in your family, and if you're a scapegoat in your family, they're not doing that because you're weak. They're doing that because you have a light. They want you to be ragged and destroyed. They're not doing it because you're weak. They're doing it because you are the strongest one. And if you want to stay that way, get away from them. I mean, my family really wanted me to commit suicide. They said that. They really thought I was going to be the one to unalive myself. Uh-huh. So that further lets me know that they knew that their behavior was abusive, and that it was attacking me on a spiritual level. Stay away from them people. See, everybody know all your family members not your ancestors. That's why we are very specific in calling on your most elevated ancestors. All of them are not good ancestors. Now, you know, I pray for their elevation through my elevated ancestors, because only they can fix them folks. You can't fix them. Only thing you can do is fix yourself. Clean up that genetic line by working on you. Recognize misery and go to the other way. A Course in Miracles. Speaking facts. For years, I had an aunt that talked so much trash about me during my childhood. I couldn't make sense of why she did that. Now that I'm successful and grown, she asks for my help. I stay away from them though. That's the thing they don't like about me. I would get away from you so fast. I would not play with you. Okay, I would get away from you so fast. Don't play with me. You just my time. I done waste so much time with you playing with me. I'm not finna waste no time for you to continue to play with me. You don't got time to play with me. I would cut you off. Cut off game so strong. Not when I tell you not to bother me, leave me alone. I mean that. I'm not gonna bother you either. You don't have to worry about me. And y'all showed me when I learned the lesson. Believe me, I learned. I'm not gonna keep repeating that lesson. I learned, and bad as it hurt, yes, it hurt. I want to have a family too that love me. We all get along. We know how to love each other and all that. Nope. Uh, Unfortunately, my lesson, my family was my a part of my spiritual growth and lesson. I understand the pathology. Did I think they want to be sick like that? No, I still have compassion for them. I know why they're like that, but that doesn't give them the right to continue their sickness on me. No, you know you're sick. I've talked about your sickness. I talked about how you need to get some help. And no, you don't get the opportunity to abuse me because I know about the sickness and I'm spiritual and you think you finna leech off me and suck my energy dry. No, that's not gonna happen. What you gonna do is get over there and stay away from me. That what that what you gonna do, you know. That what you gonna do, because I'm not gonna let you come into my space and make me raggedy like you. I'm trying to get well. Okay? And if now I understand you do love me. Yeah, I'm not doubting that you love me. You just don't know how to love me. You don't know how. Bless your heart. I'm so sorry that you don't know how to do that. Nobody taught us how to do that. I'm learning how to love myself. Okay? I know you don't know. I know you love me. You just don't know how. It ain't their fault. Somebody didn't teach them how to love. You really gonna have to start looking at that with different eyes. They just don't know how. Some people really do love us. They really mean that they love us, but they don't know how. And then the way they love us is not what we want. And that's perfectly fine. Okay, we don't want that kind of love. And you have to be clear about that, especially when it causes you to abandon yourself to get they sick type of love. It causes you to abandon yourself because they don't know how to love. You see that going on. But that's my mama and that's my sister. They do that all the time. And I no, you don't give a damn about that. That's what went on with my sisters. No, I'm not taking care of a parent that's narcissistic so they can abuse me while they die. That's what happens. I see that all the time. Well, that's my mama, but they beat me, they abused me when I was young, and they were mean to me. And I'm gonna go over there and take care. That's gonna turn out terrible for you. You gonna they what I find when people do that, when that parent pass on, these people have all sorts of illnesses. They unleash all sorts of illness on you by calling you all types of names, abusing you and all that stuff. And you just because they sick and they your mama, you letting them do oh hell no, 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 no. They got mad at me. No. She going to that nursing home. That's the best thing I can do for her. God and already set it up where she got the benefits and the right people to take care of her because she's not going to be me. It's something about them. They have other people fooled. Other people, oh, your mama's so sweet and they so this. My mama had people fooled, but behind closed door, honey, treat me like a dog. They abuse the people they love. I hate to tell her friend, I remember her friend, because she was trying to get me triangulate me with her friend. They love a lot of triangulation, especially if they think they can get some um attention out of it. And now I understood my mom, she had like the mind of a 12 or 13-year old. So she was constantly trying to get attention and care for through her triangulation. And so she was talking to me on the phone, and her friend, she's talking about her friend was taking care of her and all that sort of stuff. And I saw what she was doing right off the bat. And so some kind of she had manipulated her friend to the point, I think her friend thought that I didn't think she was doing a good job, or I was not approving of her over there. Yeah, a lot of verbal abuse. I didn't approve of her. And so I had to tell her friend on the phone, I said, look at here. You don't know what's going on, but I do. This is triangulation. Please don't fall for my mama's hype like that. That woman is sick. I see what she's trying to do. Don't get caught up in that, girl. I'm telling you right now. I see what she's doing. Now, I ain't got nothing against you or nothing like that. But she's trying to create this triangulation between me and you. And it ain't nothing like that. I said, you better get yourself up out of there. You know, get yourself up out of this, because this you getting yourself entangled in something that you don't quite understand. I had to tell that girl that. I said, you don't know what you're seeing, you know what you're doing, but you notice, what mother, I'm her daughter now. What mother, you got to be sick to talk about your daughter like that. I had to tell my daughter that you sat around there, you've been programmed this illness, but you don't see that your grandmother is sick, and she done made the whole family sick, and she done all made y'all mad at me because I'm not gonna roll with the sickness, and then y'all get mad. It's a trip. Not to say that my mother didn't have good character. She did have good characteristics, but that sickness had a hold on her. So it is a strong grip on her mind like that. It's a trip, and she made that whole family sick. Okay, and some of them still in that sickness right now today. She still got them mad at me. Trip me out. Did she have some good qualities to her? Absolutely. But she also was sick, and she made her children sick. The divine ones told me, and they were right. Okay, well, it was evil. I think evil is a strong word. Well, maybe not. To me, it helps me to look at them as having cancer of the mind. That's what you're looking at when you're looking at these narcissistic, heavy, toxic things like that. It's the cancer of the mind, because most likely they're going to have a whole bunch of other ailments as well that goes along with a sick mind like that. Okay, they're gonna have other ailments, physical ailments and stuff that go on with them. But I would not take care of her like that, because I see it so many times when you take care of a parent like that, them people be sick. They end up having diabetes, other health problems and stuff like that. Taking care of abusive parent, they go through hell. And when I start seeing it, I let my mom and I let my sister them know right after that. I'm not doing that. They got mad at me. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you do. If she gonna abuse me when I was a child and not know how to love me when I was a child, I know damn well she ain't gonna know how to do it one foot in the grave. She gonna take advantage of that. I'm telling you, that's what happens. So if this happens to you, and I know, they try to make you feel that's your mama. No, they're gonna try to feed off your soul. That's what's gonna happen there. You're gonna be more raggedy than what you is. I had to let my sister. God got His hands on my mama. My mama sat there, and I'll never forget that. She was on the oxygen machine, was smoking a cigarette, and the machine blew up. And do you know that woman wasn't touched? That whole house burnt up except her. The oxygen machine blew up, but she was not touched. I laughed. My sister got so mad at me. I said, "So, and you think she need our protection? That woman don't need nobody protection. Did you see what just happened in that house? That whole house blew. She was smoking on the oxygen machine. She didn't blow up. She don't need our help. You're not God. Let God take care of her." And that's exactly what I did. I would be doing her a disservice by letting her have that experience. Okay, my other sisters, they was mad. I said, "Nah, cause I'm not y'all mama, and this, it trips me out how y'all try to put me in these roles, and I'm not them roles." And they get mad when they can't put you in a role that they have put you in. They want you to spend your whole life in that role, and yeah, it's gonna make them uncomfortable. Cause how dare you? We put you in this little box, and you're not in it. Same thing. We see through society. Miss Penny, you are too much. We all must prepare for our own judgment scene at death. No one will be standing with us. Yeah. So I had that mean it did it hurt? Did I feel bad? A part of me felt bad, but I also knew when she was gonna die because she came to me right before she died. I knew when she was gonna die because she came to me. I said, "Oh gosh, she getting ready to pass away." Because I had never dreamed about my mom. Um, and I dreamed of her, and I think a week or two later, I think she was crossing. Then I think it was a week or two later, she passed on. Okay. Um, yeah. And I think, but then I looked at one of my voicemails because I always wanted her to be tender with me and loving with me, and just really gushy. I didn't have a gushy mom, and she couldn't be gushy. She was a single mother trying to raise children in a patriarchal society, and then she had a short woman complex. Yeah, she had a short woman complex, and she wasn't scared. So I understood why she had to be a tough cookie. I'm so glad too. She made me a tough cookie too. So there were some good attributes she passed on, but then the sickness was still there. Knowing, I try to see the good parts in it and not see her as a wounded person. And then looking at too, she was wounded. She was wounded. So I remember I was going through because I had blocked her. I didn't want to talk to her because I'm just like, you just come up with crazy stuff. I don't want to go back and forth with you. And so I had blocked her, and she called my phone. I was looking at the blocked voice message, and I just listened to it the other day, and I still have it. I still have the recording. And she said, "Hey, Penny, it's your mama. I just want you to come over here and give me a hug, and I love you." And I cried when I heard that message. I cried because that's all I ever wanted. That's all I ever wanted. That's the only kind of mama I wanted. I That's all I ever wanted. And now you just not saying that. But I keep the recording because that's her true self. That's her true essence, not the sickness. It was her true essence. So I keep that recording and I listen to it. And the best thing I can tell you is you'll be forever doing worker around that. But it also gives you the tools. You got to remember, you guys, this stuff happened to you, and you think, "Oh, this happened to me," but it's giving you so much experience and wisdom to work with other people that is dealing with this. And not a doctor or a therapist can help them with this like you can because you lived it. Experience is a better healer than anything. And people can talk about this stuff, and they can say, "Oh, this is what you have," but when you sit with someone who experienced, who lived it, who knows the pain, who holds the pain, the medicine is much better. So you didn't go through that thing for nothing. That is medicine. That is pain. That's now medicine that you can help somebody else with. So you didn't go through it for nothing. Okay, I know it feels awful to some of you, and it could be heavy. It's not pretty, but it's also your medicine. It's also your strength. Okay, you're not what happened to you. It's what you do with it. Okay. Thank you, Rise Real. Okay, so I'm ending the live stream now, and I hope you gained some insight from our discussion today. And I really hope to see you in our community. I'm really looking forward to working with a lot of you guys, and I really want to make this thing bigger. All right. Love you guys. You take care.